This is Lindsey Nelson with Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner here at Shea Stadium in New York as the Mets and the Cubs get set for the third and concluding game of the current series that now stands at 1 game each. Today on the mound for the visiting Chicago Cubs will be 26-year-old right-hander Bill Hand. And pitching for the New York Mets will be 33-year-old right-hander Bob Shaw. We'll be back with the start of today's game in just one moment. Now, here's a word from Rheingold.
I don't know the reason. I can't tell you why. More people like Rheingold, the beer extra dry. But we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something right. Yes, we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something absolutely right. Positively, absolutely right.
Here at Shea Stadium this Sunday afternoon, it is a beautiful day for a baseball game, and there are plenty of seats available, so if you happen to be in the vicinity and want to attend a baseball game, come on out by all means. Now the starting lineup. First for the visiting Chicago Cubs, leading off and playing center field is Adolfo Phillips. Batting second at second base is Glenn Beckett. Playing right field and batting third is Billy Williams. And batting fourth and playing third base, Ron Santos. Batting fifth is the first baseman, Ernie Banks. Batting sixth is the left fielder, Byron Brown. Batting seventh and catching, Randy Huntley. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Don Kessinger. Batting ninth and pitching, Bill Hand. Right now, the umpires have come out to the home plate area. Captain Ron Santo is there with the lineup cards for the Cubs, and here comes manager Wes Westrom with the Met lineup cards. The starting lineup for the Mets, leading off and playing second base is Chuck Hiller. Batting second in right field, Al Luplow. Batting third at first base, Ed Craneville. Batting fourth is the left fielder, Larry Elliott. Batting fifth in center field, Cleon Jones. Batting sixth at third base, Ken Boyer. Batting seventh and playing shortstop, Ed Pursuit. Batting eighth is the catcher, Jerry Grody. Batting ninth and pitching, Bob Shaw. This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Rheingold Breweries Incorporated, the Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation, and the Sun Oil Company, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Well, last night was a big one here at Shea Stadium as more than 50,000 fans turned out for Old Timers Night as the 1950 All-Star Game was briefly recreated and the National Leaguers won it by a score of 2-0. But more importantly, the fans got an opportunity to see and greet some of the great stars of the past and to see them perform briefly on the field. Then the New York Mets topped off the evening with a victory over the Chicago Cubs to assure them of finishing out this month with a better than 500 percentage, and thus it becomes the first month ever that the Mets have played a full month schedule and finished with a better than 500 percentage. Right now the New York Mets are taking the field. Bob Shaw is out there firing down the warm-up tosses. As we start play today, the Mets have won 46 games and lost 55. The Chicago Cubs have won 32 games and lost 70. They are 28.5 games back of the league-leading Pittsburgh Pirates. Mets are 14 games out of first place, so the Mets are leading the Chicago Cubs by 14.5 games. The Mets are closer to first place than they are to last place in the National League standings. On the field now, the Mets have Ed Craneville at first base, Chuck Hiller at second base, Ed Pursuit at shortstop, and Ken Boyer at third. Larry Elliott is in left field. Cleon Jones is in center field, and Al Luplo is in right field. The San Francisco Giants will be coming in here tomorrow night. They will be here on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. We'd like to emphasize that there are good box and reserve seats available for all of those Giant games coming up starting tomorrow night. The Giants right now, as of today, are in third place in the National League standings, having sustained a double loss at the hands of the Atlanta Braves yesterday. Pittsburgh Pirates are on top. The Los Angeles Dodgers are second, a game and a half out. The Giants are a game and a half out, 3 percentage points back of the Dodgers. St. Louis Cardinals have won 6 straight and are in fourth place, 6 games out. The Phillies are in fifth place, 7.5 games out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at Shea Stadium in New York, our national anthem. With the playing of the national anthem, the Mets are on the field, and the Chicago Cub coaches come out to take their post. Whitey Lockman coming around to coach at first base, and Pete Weiser on the lines at third. Manager Leo DeRocher pacing in the dugout at this moment. Yesterday and last night's results in the National League: the Mets defeated the Cubs 6-3. Cincinnati Reds beat the Houston Astros 5-1. Philadelphia Phillies beat the Pirates 4-1. The Atlanta Braves beat the Giants 6-5 in 11 innings in the afternoon game, 15-2 in the night game. The St. Louis Cardinals beat the Dodgers by a score of 3-1. The American League yesterday and last night: the White Sox shut out the Yankees 6-0. The Red Sox beat Washington 8-2. Minnesota shut out the league-leading Baltimore Orioles 7-0. Kansas City beat Detroit 2-1. California beat Cleveland 2-1. Starting play today in the American League: Baltimore is on top. Detroit 13.5 games out. The California Angels are also 13.5 games out, 1 percentage point back of the second-place Detroit Tigers. Now, Adolfo Phillips is up to lead off for the Cubs. Here's Bob Shaw's pitch, and it is inside for a ball. Bob Shaw, in his 11 starts as a Met, has been scored on in the first inning 8 times. He has allowed the opposition at least 1 run in the first inning in his last 5 starts. It has been a first-inning jinx as far as Shaw has been concerned. Ball is bunted foul on the third base line and out of play. Bob Shaw says that it's all a matter of rhythm, and that once he has established the rhythm, which is difficult to establish for him apparently early, that he can continue, and that's sort of the pattern that he has followed. Overall, Bob Shaw has won 8 games and lost 9. As a Met, he has won 7 games and lost 5. Adolfo Phillips is hitting .267, 12 home runs and 25 runs batted in. The 1-1 pitch is hit high in the air into left field. Larry Elliott flips the glasses, moves in, and he drops the ball. And moving to second is Adolfo Phillips. Larry Elliott had the ball in his glove and dropped it. It is an error charged against left fielder Larry Elliott. It is a two-base error, and now he is out for missing first base. An appeal play is put on, and Phillips is out for missing first base. As Bob Shaw got the ball, puts it over there to Ed Kranepool, and the call is made by Al Barlick, the umpire at first, as Adolfo Phillips, thinking that the fly ball would be caught easily, did not bother to touch the bag at first. So he is out, and Glenn Beckert is up, hitting .295 with 1 home run and 36 runs batted in. Now the pitch is low for a ball to Beckert. 1 man out and nobody on base. So Adolfo Phillips was out on the appeal play at first after the ball had been dropped by Larry Elliott out in left field. Now the pitch is low for a ball. 2-0 is the count to Beckert, with Billy Williams waiting in the on-deck circle. The wind is ripping the flag out toward right field here this afternoon at Shea Stadium. There's 1 man out, there's nobody on base. Cubs batting in the top half of the first inning. Now Bob Shaw's pitch, and it's in there for a called strike. 2-1. The umpire's Mel Steiner behind the plate. Al Barlick at first, Augie Donatelli at second, and Stan Landis at third. Bob Shaw again pops and pitches. Here's a swing and a ground ball to short. Taken on a big hop by Bersu and across the Kranepool, and there are 2 men out. Kranepool, of course, gets the put out on Adolfo Phillips, who did not reach first base officially. Billy Williams is up now, hitting .301. He has 20 home runs and 58 runs batted in.
Billy Williams.
2 men out with nobody on. Ron Sando moves out to the on-deck circle. Now Shaw's delivery, and it's low for a ball. Defensively, the Mets have swung around toward right, playing Billy Williams to pull. Billy Williams last year hit 34 home runs as a Chicago Cub to set a new club high for Cubs as far as left-hand batters are concerned. Since the runner, of course, on Phillips did not officially reach first base, there is no error charged against Larry Elliott. Here's a swing and a drive deep to right, and it is going foul up into the mezzanine deck. The 34 home runs hit by Williams last year was an all-time mark for the Cubs as far as left-hand batters are concerned. For right-hand batters, of course, Hack Wilson holds that record. He hit 56, which is the National League record. This is a 1-1 pitch. Swung on it on the ground to short. Taken there by Bersu and played across the Kranepool, and the side is out. The play on Adolfo Phillips went 7-4-3 if you're keeping score. On the appeal play at first, no error. It was a race because the runner never officially reached first base. Top of the first, no runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Score at the end of a half inning is Cubs nothing, and the Mets coming to bat.
Just Jazz. However you enjoy your kicks and jazz, we feel certain that you'll get your fill on the weekly program Just Jazz, heard over WGY. The program is heard usually on Tuesdays from 8 till 11 in the evening. But during the Mets baseball season, the show is heard on other nights of the week. In any case, Just Jazz is heard one night each week. Suggestion: send your name and address to Just Jazz Schedule, care of WGY in Schenectady, New York. And by return mail, you'll have the listings of each of the Just Jazz programs throughout the summer. This is Randy English. Be advised, it's cool, it swings, it's for you, and it's Just Jazz, here at 810 on your radio dial. Over WGY in Schenectady.
We're going now to the bottom half of the first inning, and it'll be Chuck Hiller coming up to lead off for the Mets. Bob Shaw got by the first inning and got the side in order, actually, as Adolfo Phillips did not officially get on base after Larry Elliott dropped his pop fly and left. He was out on the field play at first, so he never did officially reach first base. And then Shaw got the next two batters short to first. Beckert and Williams both grounding out short to first. So Chuck Hiller is up now with a .324 batting average, 1 home run and 8 runs batted in. Bill Hands is on the mound for the Chicago Cubs. He's won 7 games this year and lost 8. Right-hand pitcher facing a left-hand batter. Ron Hunt is still being rested by manager Wes Westrom. Here is the pitch low for a ball. Hunt is still beset with a variety of injuries and ailments. He's able to play. However, manager Westrom wanted him to have a couple of days rest to get set for the Giants series opening up tomorrow night because he has an excellent record at the plate against the Giants. Now the pitch is low for a ball. It's 2-0 to Chuck Hiller. The Cubs on the field have Ernie Banks at first, Glenn Beckert at second, Don Kessinger at short, and Ron Santo at third. Byron Brown in left, Adolfo Phillips in center, and Billy Williams in right. Randy Hundley catching. Fastball in there for a call strike, 2-1 to Chuck Hiller. On the coaching line, Berra at first, then Herzog at third for the Mets. Here's a fastball low inside. Bill Hands goes behind. 3 balls and 1 strike. Again the delivery, and he walks him. Chuck Hiller draws a walk to open up for the Mets here in the bottom half of the first inning. It'll be Al Luplow hitting .242 with 3 home runs and 19 runs batted in.
Right fielder, Al Luplow.
Bill Hands against the Mets has won none and lost 2. That is his lifetime record against the New York Mets. Here's a swing and a foul ball backing out of play. Hands lost to the Mets 5-1 on May the 8th and 9-3 on June the 25th. He is from Rutherford, New Jersey. Ernie Banks at first is holding against the base runner, Chuck Hiller. Down to Luplow is strike 1. Hands throws over to first, but Hiller's back safely. The wind still rippling the flag pretty stiffly out toward right field. Beautiful baseball day. Here's a pitch high and away. Sail way out there. Gloved by Hundley as he moved out. 1-1. Ed Cranebull has moved out to the on-deck circle. This will be a 1-1 pitch. Swung on to Indiana left. Byron Brown is there. And he makes the catch. Halfway on the fly ball to left, Chuck Hiller goes back to first. 1 man out, and now Ed Cranebull, the first baseman, hitting .244 with 10 home runs and 38 runs batted in. Bill Hands looks in now to Randy Hundley to get a sign. Works up and set, and throw over to first. Hiller is back safely. Last night the Mets placed Ed Bersu at second base, with McMillan at short. Now the pitch swung on and foul back. It's out of play. Strike 1 count to Cranebull. Larry Elliott's waiting on deck. Hiller takes his lead. Strike 1 delivery. Swung on and missed. Strike 2 now to Ed Cranebull. Joe Gibbon is scheduled to pitch tomorrow night for the Giants. The Mets, Bob Friend is scheduled to go. Hiller takes his lead, and here's the pitch. In there for a call, strike three. Fastball, cut the inside corner. Rainpool is a strikeout victim. He turns and walks back toward the dugout. And Larry Elliott's coming up with 2 men out. Hitting .298. He has 2 home runs and 14 runs batted in. Wide stance at the plate. Left-hand batter facing the right-hand pitcher. Hiller takes the lead at first, and the pitch to Elliott is a breaking ball down low for ball 1. In the National League standings, the Mets are in 9th place, 1 game behind the Atlanta Braves, 2 games behind the Houston Astros. Now 1-0 pitch, and it is low for a ball, 2-0. Cincinnati Reds have now moved ahead of Houston in the standings. Cincinnati 6th, Houston 7th. Atlanta 8th, the Mets 9th, the Cubs 10th. This will be a 2-0 delivery to Larry Elliott. Swung on and missed. Breaking pitch. It's 2-1. Throw to first. Hiller's back safely. Sliding in down there. Al Barlick, the umpire, stationed at first base. On a play such as that in which Phillips was out in the first inning, the umpire, even though aware that the runner has missed first, makes no call until there is an appeal. The field constitutes placing the ball with the first baseman on the bag. Here's a pitch low, and it's 3-1. And when that circumstance occurs, it is the duty of the umpire then to make a call. And Barlick was emphatic in his call about. Obviously, a doubtful Phillips, figuring there would be no play on the high routine pop to left, simply just didn't touch the bag as he rounded. This will be a 3-1 delivery. Instead of throw to first, and Hiller's back safely. Larry Elliott settling himself back into the batter's box. Chuck Hiller takes his lead at first. Bill Hands off the stretch with a 3-1 pitch. It's low, and Elliott draws a walk. That'll move Hiller up to second. Elliott's at first, Hiller's at second, 2 men out. Cleon Jones with a 5-game hitting streak is coming up now. Jones is hitting .280 for the season, 5 home runs and 36 runs batted in. Leo DeRocher standing up, barbering a little with his catcher, Randy Hundley. Still looking back into the dugout is Hundley, and now he turns to get to flash a sign out to Bill Hand, who has walked 2 batters here in the bottom half of the first inning. Now umpire Mel Steiner behind the plate takes off his nuts. He is now getting to barbering. It's DeRocher and Steiner. DeRocher from the dugout. Steiner takes off the mask. Leo is pointing out onto the field. And it has begun early here this afternoon at Shea Stadium. Well, it's obvious now that many of the remarks that DeRocher was making to his catcher were intended for the umpire, Mel Steiner. Here's a pitch, and it's outside for a ball. 1-0. A little indirect communication that quickly became direct communication. Chuck Hiller is the runner at second for the Mets, and Larry Elliott is the runner at first. 2 men out, no score in the bottom half of the first inning. Ken Boyer has moved out to the on-deck post. Hands goes to the rosin bag now. Fingers it and flips it aside. Leans forward to get a sign from Randy Hundley. Met runners lead at first and second. And the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and sliced off foul to the right side out of play. 1-1 now to Cleon Jones. Crowd reaction to a catch made in the stand. Cleon Cleon Jones settled himself carefully back into the batter's box. Batting number 5 in manager Wes Westrum's Met batting order here this afternoon. Runners lead at first and second. And the 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball over the top of Cleon Jones' head. He ducks down to the dirt to get out of the way. And that runs the count behind at 2 balls and 1 strike. Now, Mr. Al Moore of Rheingold is a picture of sartorial splendor on this summer Sunday afternoon. Here in connection with the Salute to Labor ceremony on the field just before the start of the ball game. Ably handled by Mr. Ralph Kiner, who did admirably well to get out of bed after participating in the Old Timers game last night.
It only took 2 boys and my wife to get me up.
1 bottle of liniment and a few encouraging words. 2 balls and 1 strike to count now to Cleon Jones at the plate. Net runners lead at first and second. And the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. The count's leveled at 2-2.
You know, Lindsay, you're an expert on historical splendor. When did white shoes come back in? Al's got a pair of white shoes on.
They're coming. He's a year ahead. They'll be here. He'll be here next year. He's a year ahead of his time, or 15 years too late. I'm not sure which.
They don't even have crepe soles.
He's all set. It's what you wear on the quarterdeck, I think. Runners leading now at first and second. And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's looped to second, taken by Beckett, a soft line drive, and he is out. The Stars retired, no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 walks, 2 outs. Score at the end of an inning as the Cubs nothing and the Mets nothing. The Giants are coming in here tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday afternoon. There are good Boston reserve seats available for any or all of those games. Then the St. Louis Cardinals, who are riding the crest of a 6-game winning streak, will be in here Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and a doubleheader Sunday. Tickets are now on sale for any of those games at a wide variety of convenient ticket locations. Here at Shea Stadium, the advance ticket window is open 7 days a week, 8 to 6 weekdays, 9 to 5 Saturdays and Sundays. In Manhattan at Grand Central Station, the Met ticket office is at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue route. It's open weekdays 8 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 to 4. Also in Manhattan, Macy's at 34th Street and 7th Avenue has a Met ticket office located on the main floor near the 7th Avenue entrance. For Long Islanders, there is a Met ticket office at Macy's in Huntington, Long Island, in the Walt Whitman Shopping Center. It's open during regular store hours. In addition, reservations for box and reserve seats may be made at all Howard Clothes stores during regular store hours. Also at any branch of the manufacturer's Hanover Trust Company during banking hours. Tickets may be obtained by mail by writing Ticket Manager, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Box seats are $3.50 each. Reserve seats $2.50 each. Add 25 cents to each order to cover mailing costs. At the top of the second, Ron Santo will be up. Ralph, last night, after the ball game, talking to some of the old-timers, I confirmed all of your allegations about the way right-hand batters feel about Ewell Blackwell. I was talking to Willie Jones, and Ewell Blackwell walked up, and Willie said, "You know I hit 400 against Blackwell?" I said, "A right-hand batter hit 400 against Blackwell?" He said, "1 hit and 400 times at bat." Ron Santos up there now, hitting .309. He hits the ball in the air to right. Luplow is going back. He's there in the warning track to haul it down. Well hit ball to right field off the bat of Ron Santo. One away, and Ernie Banks is coming up. He had a homer last night. He's hitting .269. He has 6 home runs, 42 runs batted in. When Blackwell walked up, Willie Jones said, and he said it very emphatically, this fella should have had a league all by himself because he was a fella who should have been in a league all by himself. Here's a pitch in for a called strike.
I know a lot of hitters, right-hand batters, that actually talk very roughly to Blackwell, something they would have never done when he was in his prime.
You're right. A strike one shot now to Ernie Banks. Now Bob Shaw with the pitch. Swung on, and Ernie Banks sends it to right center. Loop blows over, and he makes the catch for the out. So there are 2 men out, and Byron Brown's coming up. He's playing left field today. George Altman played left in the first 2 games of the series. Brown's hitting .257, 13 home runs, and 39 runs batted in.
Byron Brown, number 29.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, and Byron Brown delivers a base hit. The first for the Cubs off Bob Shaw. He's on at first with a ground single up the middle, and catcher Randy Hundley will be coming up now. Hundley's hitting .246. He has 11 home runs and 39 runs batted in.
Number 9.
The Giants got Randy Hundley and the fellow who's pitching today, Bill Hans, from the Giant organization, in exchange for Lindy McDaniel and Don Landrum. Bob Shaw checks the runner at first base now off the stretch to pitch to Hundley, and it's in there for a called strike. You recall last week when the Mets were in Houston, Larry Dierker started against him and left early with a soreness in his shoulder. Dierker has been placed on the disabled list by the Houston Astros. Here's the pitch outside for a ball. Ray Sadecki, the left-hander obtained by the Giants from the Cardinals in exchange for Orlando Cepeda, was used in relief in a mop-up role in Atlanta last night. In a game that the Giants lost 15-2, it was Sadecki in there in relief. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and lined into center. Cleon Jones comes in and makes the catch on the line drive to center field. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. The score at the end of an inning and a half is Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing.
Yes, this is the month when we dealers worry, and you new car buyers reap the benefits in cash savings. Let's face it, we've got too many 66 Chevys, and we got to sell them. Big discounts on Caprice, Impalas, Chevy 2s, all models in every price range, with financing to fit your personal situation. Choose from more than 50 station wagons, as little as $489 down and $59.75 a month. And your present car will probably more than cover the down payment. Many more 66 Chevys for even less money. But make your move now.
Don't sign your name. It would be a shame until you see your Bumstead man.
Some months are better than others for new car buying, and this one is a real doozer at Bumstead of Troy. Unheard of discounts on the last 320 new 66 Chevys.
We're going now to the bottom half of the second inning, and Ken Boyer is coming up to lead off for the New York Mets. And before he does, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
And you're listening to WGY 810 on your radio dial and WGFM Schenectady.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Tanner and Bob Murphy here at Shea Stadium in New York. Mets and the Cubs in the concluding game of a 3-game set. Boyer is hitting .272. He has 9 home runs and 39 runs batted in. Bill Hans with the fastball low, and it is ball 1 now to Ken Boyer. Ed Brissou waiting in the on-deck circle. Breaking pitch, swung on and missed. So the count is now 1-1. This is a 1-1 delivery. Swung on and fouled off to the right side and out of play. Here's a swing on a foul ball coming back. Hundley gives it a run, but this one is in the seats and out of play, well back in the stand. Down holding 1 and 2 now to Ken Boyer. Hans looks into Randy Hundley to read the sign as the Cubs play Ken Boyer straight away. Here's a 1-2 delivery. Swung on in Indiana right field and deep, but moving back there now is Billy Williams. Near the edge of the warning track, he hauls it down for the out. Boyer flying out to right, 1 away, and Ed Brissou is coming up. Hitting .228 with 8 home runs and 34 runs batted in. Brissou swinging the bat as he waits. Here's a pitch hit on the ground to third. Sando short hops the ball, plays it across in time. For a brief moment, Sando was trying to decide whether he was going to rock back and play it on a big hop. Decided to short hop it and came up with it cleanly, played on. So there are 2 men out, and now it's going to be Jerry Grody. That catcher is hitting .230. He has 3 homers and 19 runs batted in. Mets do not yet have a base hit off Bill Hand. They had 2 base runners in the first inning, both as the result of walks issued by Hand. Swinging a ground ball at shortstop. It's scooped up by Kessinger. He throws on the run in time. Slow hit ground ball gave Kessinger plenty of time to get over and glove it and throw on the run. So starts out in order. No runs, no hits, no errors, not allowed. Score at the end of 2 is the Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing. We'd like to remind you that you can meet your favorite Mets player through the Mets fan club. And you can get information and a list of the dates available by writing to Mets Fan Club, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip code 11368. Or you can pick up that very same information at any regular Mets ticket outlet if it's more convenient. Some of the future dates are August 5th, Bill Murphy. September 2nd, Hawk Taylor. September 6th, Chuck Hiller. September 9th, Jack Hamilton. September 27th, Cleon Jones. September 30th, Bob Shaw. And October 1st, Al Luplo. Be sure to take advantage of these dates as they will be the last one scheduled for this 1966 baseball season. For information on a list of those dates, once again, the address is Met Fan Club, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, zip code 11368. We're going out of the top half of the 3rd inning. Last night, at the Old Timers Dinner, Casey Stengel addressed the group. A rather lengthy address, as a matter of fact, and the subject for a good part of it was our Mr. Ralph Canna. I'm not exactly just sure what was said, but here's Ralph.
Okay, Lindsay, I'm not sure either. It's the top of the 3rd, a scoreless ball game, and Don Kessinger coming up for the Chicago Cubs. On the mound for the Mets, Bob Shaw. Bob has given up no runs, allowed 1 hit. The only hit of the ball game, it was by Byron Brown. And the first pitch is called a strike by Mel Steiner. It'll be Don Kessinger, Bill Hands, and then Adolfo Phillips against Shaw here in the 3rd. Don, a switch hitter now, batting at .239. He's been tough against the Mets. Mets playing shaded toward left field. And the pitch back to the plate is a curve, swung on and missed. It's now strike 2. Don came into this series with 5 for 14 against the Mets. He's had 7 base hits now and 18 times up against the Mets this year. The 2-strike pitch is a fastball outside. Bob missed him with a spotted fastball. It's now 1-2. Bob got by the first inning to pick an appeal play to do it. Adolfo Phillips was out for missing first base and a fly ball dropped by the left fielder, Larry Elliott. So no error charged and no base hit charged. Now at 1-2, the pitch back is an overhand curve. It swung on and missed, strike 3. And Bob came right off the top with a good breaking curveball to pick up his first strikeout. That'll bring up Bill Hand. Say, the Rheingold Chug-a-Mug is a wide-mouthed glass mug that holds 12 ounces of beer. And it even feels right when you pick it up. We're selling them in handy cartons of 6, and they're just about the handiest fist punchers in town.
Number 49.
Bill Hand, the right-hand batter, with an average of 0.32. He's been at bat 31 times and had 1 hit, and that was a 2-base hit. And he takes a breaking pitch outside, ball 1. The 1-base hit saw him with 1 run batted in. Bill wearing number 49. And Shaw back with a fastball that's over at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. No score in the ball game. Cubs have the only base hit. That came in the second. Cubs hit the ball hard in the second inning. All 4 batters got good wood in the ball, but only one of them got a base hit. Top ball down to third base. A 1-hopper for Ken Boyer. He throws low over to first base just above the dirt part of the infield, and the catch made by Eddie Cranepool for the second out. Now we'll bring up Adolfo Phillips. Adolfo 0 for 1 with a 266 average. He has 12 home runs this year and 25 runs batted in.
Phillips. Number 20.
In the National League at the end of 5, Philadelphia 1, Pittsburgh nothing. Jim Bunning pitching for the Phillies. And now they have added 3 more runs against the Pirates on a 3-run home run by Bill White, his 18th in the top of the 6th. So they lead by a score of 4-0, and they're still batting in the 6th. Vernon Law knocked out in the 6th inning, and Pete Mickelson is in the ball game. First pitch to Adolfo Phillips. It is butted in the air. Jerry Gordy starts toward third and then finds the ball, and it's too late for him to come back as the ball was off to the right side back of home plate. Jerry trying to get out on the bunt attempt in a hurry and going out actually too soon for a ball that he didn't see in time. It'll go as a strike. Philadelphia playing a doubleheader at Pittsburgh, and the Pirates now, after losing yesterday to the Phillies, now behind again here today. At the end of 2, Houston 1, Cincinnati nothing. Dave Justy against Milt Pappas. The 1-strike pitch, the slider fouled back over the top of the radio booth. It's strike 2. That Houston-Cincinnati game also a scheduled doubleheader. The Dodgers scored in the first. They lead 1-0 after 1. Claude Osteen pitching for the Dodgers against Steve Carlson, who was just brought up from the minors. San Francisco scheduled against Atlanta. And it'll be Bob Boland pitching for the Giants against Dick Kelly. 2-strike pitch is high, and it's ball 1. In the American League, the Yankees nothing, the White Sox nothing after 1. Peterson against Harlan. That's a scheduled doubleheader. Detroit scheduled for 2 against Kansas City. At the end of 5.5, Boston 2, Washington nothing. Bennett against Humphrey. Beniglio with a home run with a man on is 19. Baltimore scheduled against the Twins for a single game. Watt and Cott are the opposing pitchers. Next pitch is inside. Over the inside corner, a call, strike 3, and that retires the side. Second strikeout for Bob Shaw. He now has retired 4 in a row. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing.
What's new? Preview. This is Earl Pudney inviting you to join us every Saturday from 1:05 till 2 p.m. for Preview, a new concept in weekend radio. Preview will feature reviews and interviews on the new books. Preview will bring you the newest releases from the Broadway shows, the world of jazz, the folk singers, and the top swingers. When you listen to Preview, you'll hear about the current bestsellers. We'll be sure to keep you posted on the publishers, the prices, and keep you informed. What kind of books? We'll talk about books on medicine, science, African adventure, spacecraft and missiles, the bestsellers. In other words, recommended reading for your summer vacation. And we'll be talking to artists and authors, explorers, and people close to the political scene. And everything will be new from the world of music. So join me every Saturday afternoon, 1:05 till 2, for the newest in weekend radio. Preview on WGY.
It'll be Bob Shaw to lead off for the Mets here in the bottom half of the third of a scoreless ball game. Bob batting for the first time in the ball game. He has an average of 194, 6 hits and 31 times up. Bob will be followed by Chuck Hiller and then Al Lupron. On the mound for the Cubs, Bill Hand. Bill, the right-hand pitcher. Shaw being played straight away by the Chicago outfield, and the first pitch is in for a called strike. And the next pitch hit hard down by Ernie Banks in the right field area. Going on through, picked up by Billy Williams, and Shaw stays at first base. Hard smash that didn't come up. Ernie Banks couldn't get the glove down in time. The ball skidded on by him, and it would be scored a base hit. So the Mets have their first base hit. Anna Coffert's at the mound as Randy Huntley goes out to talk with Bill Hands, and Bob Shaw gets a light warm-up jacket. The batter coming up for the Mets, Chuck Hiller, who walked his first time up. Chuck with his walk keeping his average at 324. He has 1 home run and 8 runs batted in. Chuck, a left-hand batter. And now Huntley back to give the signs out to Bill Hands from behind home plate. No score in the ball game. Both sides with a base hit now. No one out, bottom half of the third. Final game of this 3-game series. First pitch is grounded out slowly towards second base. Bob Shaw goes on by the second baseman, so the second baseman, Glenn Beckert, has to throw to the shortstop, Don Kessinger, at second base for the fourth play there. If he had been able to tag Bob Shaw, he might have had a double play, but Bob hustled on by him, and he had to make the throw to second base, and that took up the time. So Chuck Hiller on at first base in place of Bob, and the batter coming up is Al Luplow.
Now as manager Westrom turns and goes back to his dugout, here is the starting lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies. Leading off at second base, Tony Taylor. Batting second in left field today, Cookie Rojas. Batting third at shortstop, Dick Grote. And hitting cleanup at third base, Richie Allen. Batting fifth and playing first base, Harvey Keene. Bill White's being given a rest today. The right fielder is John Callison, batting sixth against the left-hander. Bob Euchre is catching and batting seventh. Johnny Briggs is in center field, batting eighth. And Chris Short is the pitcher, batting ninth. For the New York Mets, leading off is the right fielder, Cleon Jones. Batting second and playing second base, Ron Hunt. Batting third is the third baseman, Ken Boyer. And batting fourth and playing first base, Jim Hickman. Batting fifth in left field is Ron Swoboda. Followed by the shortstop, Ed Brissou. Batting seventh and playing center field today is Billy Murphy. Batting eighth and catching is Jerry Grote. And the pitcher is Tug McGraw. Chris Short still is warming up. Down below, he has a record of 16 wins and 8 losses this year. Against the Mets, he has won 1 and lost 1. Now the New York Mets are taking the field. Chris Short has a lifetime record against the Mets of 4 wins and 3 losses. He pitched a 6-hit shutout here at Shea Stadium on June 30th. He won it 1-0, and he struck out 13. He lost to the Mets at Philadelphia 8-1 on July 4th. He went 1 2/3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits. He had 2 other starts against the Mets this season with no decision. He pitched 7 innings here at Shea on May 31st, and he pitched 6 1/3 at Philadelphia August 19th. Now our national anthem. national anthem, the New York Mets are on the field. Jim Hickman is at first base. Ron Hunt is at second. Ed Bertu is at shortstop, and Ken Boyer is around at third. Ron Swoboda is in left field. Billy Murphy is in center field. Leon Jones is in right. Jerry Grody is catching, and Tug McGraw is pitching. Tug McGraw this year with the Mets has won 2 and lost 6. Against the Phillies, he has won 1 and lost none. And that is also his lifetime record against the Phils. On August 21st in Philadelphia, McGraw defeated the Phils by a score of 5-1. He hurled a 2-hitter. He walked 1 and struck out 3 in that ball game. Tony Taylor standing just outside the batter's box now, waiting until Tug McGraw finishes his warm-up. And there goes the throw down to second base. At Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, the Chicago Cubs have scored 4 runs in the top half of the first inning off Woody Fryman, who has been knocked out in the first and relieved by Don Cardwell. Bill Hands is going for the Cubs. Ernie Banks had a 3-run homer as the Cubs got off to 4 runs in the top half of the first inning. The Giants are at St. Louis. Juan Marichal is warming up for the Giants. Al Jackson for the St. Louis Cardinals. The Dodgers are at Cincinnati. Now, Tug McGraw with the first pitch to Taylor, and it's in for a called strike. Don Drysdale is warming up for the Dodgers, and Sammy Ellis is warming up for the Cincinnati Reds. We'll keep you posted on scores of other games throughout the course of this one here at Shea Stadium. Tony Taylor is hitting .245. He has 5 home runs and 33 runs batted in. McGraw takes the sign, deals the pitch. Curveball low. 1-1 now to Tony Taylor with Cookie Rojas on deck. Rojas, who has again assumed the role of a utility man with the Philadelphia Phillies. He was in center field last night. He's in left this afternoon. During most of the season, he was the regular second baseman. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swung on and lined into right field for a base hit. Leon Jones is over up with the ball, plays it back, and it's a leadoff single for Tony Taylor. Rojas is hitting .273 with 6 homers and 50 runs batted in. Enos Lowry is on the coaching lines at first base for the Phillies, and George Myatt is the coach around at third. There's a throw to first. McGraw was not on the rubber, so he just wheeled and underhanded the ball over there. Taylor takes a good lead. Now the pitch to Rojas, who squares, butts the ball to the third base side. McGraw has it. He throws to first in time. And the sacrifice goes 1-3 as Hickman took the throw, which was almost high. Hickman had to reach up to pull it down. Tony Taylor moves to second. Gene Knox calling on the sacrifice bunt here in the top half of the first inning. Dick Roach, the batter, hitting .256. He has 2 homers and 47 runs batted in. He was a big man in last night's victory for the Phillies over the Mets. This is the last schedule meeting between these two teams this year. Now the pitch. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. Starting play today in the National League, the Pittsburgh Pirates are on top. The Los Angeles Dodgers are in second place, 2 games out, and 1 percentage point ahead of the third place San Francisco Giants. The Phillies are 7 games back. Here's a strike 1 delivery. Swung on, hit on the ground, foul. Over toward the corner of the Philly dugout. Richie Allen is out there on deck. Richie was a late arrival here at Shea Stadium today. He's swinging the bat, kneeling on deck right now. McGraw takes the sign. Tony Taylor leads at second. There's 1 man out. Now no throw as McGraw wheeled and bluffed to throw to second with Ron Hunt moving toward the bag. But Taylor was back in plenty of time. And now no pitch is called as McGraw came on through, but Dick Grote had backed out of the batter's box just as McGraw was set to deliver. Top half of the first inning here at Shea Stadium. It's a swing and a ground ball to third. It is a foul ball just off the line, taken deep by Ken Boyer. 2-strike count to Grote, who comes back to the plate. Between the hours of 12 noon and 1 p.m. today, hundreds of fans came down into the lower field boxes to photograph their favorite Met players, as this was designated as Camera Day here at Shea Stadium. Here's a pitch swung on and hit foul down the right field line, out of play. Count holds it 2 strikes. As you know, the weather was somewhat threatening throughout the morning, but hundreds of fans nonetheless showed up early and spent the hour photographing their favorite Met players. Now Tony McGraw checks the runner at second, Tony Taylor, and the pitch to Dick Grote. Swung on and line to the left for a base hit. Taylor is rounding third. He's being held up, and here comes Swoboda's throw, and it's cut off in the throw to second, and Grote is hung up between first and second, and now he is being tagged out by Hickman, and Tony Taylor goes back to third. The play goes 7-5-4-3 on Grote. A single to left, and he's out 7-5-4-3. As Boyer cut off the throw of Ron Swoboda, Taylor already had been held up by Coach George Myatt at third. There are 2 men out, a runner at third, and Richie Allen is the batter. It is a fine single into left by Grote. Richie Allen hitting .316 with 36 home runs and 98 runs batted in. He is tied with Henry Aaron of the Atlanta Braves for the home run lead in the National League. As we indicated, Richie Allen was a little tardy in showing up today, and one of the Philly players said, "Our offense isn't here yet." Here's the pitch in for a called strike. Mets are playing him straight away. He's had 3 home runs in the series, one over the center field fence, one over the left field fence, and one over the right field fence. Swinging a drive into right field. If it stays fair, it is a fair ball going to the corner. Tony Taylor scores, and moving on to second is Allen. He turns second. He's going to third. Throw to third base. He slides, and he's out. At third base, it went from 9 to 4 to 5. From Cleon Jones to Ron Hutt to Ken Boyer. It goes as a double and a run batted in. And then he goes 9-4-5. Phil's got a run on 3 hits. No errors and none left. And the score at the end of a half inning is the Phillies 1 and the Mets coming to bat. Now here's a word from Rhingo.
I don't know the reason. I can't tell you why. The more people like Rhingo, the beer extra dry. But we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something right. Yes, we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something absolutely right. Positively, whoop, absolutely right.
Now in the bottom half of the first inning, Cleon Jones is coming up to lead off for the Mets. Hitting .280, he has 7 home runs and 48 runs batted in. Facing Chris Short, who has won 16 games and lost 8 for the Phillies. Short won 16, lost 8. Jim Bunning has won 16, lost 9. The 2 top hurlers on the staff. Larry Jackson has won 13, lost 13. Here are the big 3 of the Philly pitching corps. Here's the first pitch to the right-hand batter. Swung on and in the air to short right field. Tony Taylor, the second baseman, is backpedaling, and he's backed up by Callison, and Taylor makes the catch. Staggered a little just as the ball came down. One away, and Ron Hunt's the batter, hitting .289 with 3 homers and 31 runs batted in.
Number 33, Ron Hunt.
Last night, the Philadelphia Phillies defeated the Mets 8-4. Yesterday afternoon, the Pittsburgh Pirates beat Chicago 9-1. Yesterday afternoon, the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Giants 3-2. Last night, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Cincinnati Reds 7-3. Sandy Koufax got his 22nd win of the season, although he did not go all the way. He was relieved in the 7th inning by Phil Regan. And the Atlanta Braves took both ends of a doubleheader from the Houston Astros, 12-2 and 6-4. Very short takes the sign from catcher Bob Uecker, and the pitch to Ron Hunt. In there for a called strike. So the New York Mets, despite a loss to the Phillies last night, picked up a half game on the 8th place Houston Astros, who lost 2. So starting play today, the Mets are a game and a half back of the 8th place Houston Astros. The victory by the Dodgers moved them ahead of the San Francisco Giants in the National League standings. And as you know, tomorrow night, the Giants and the Dodgers start their series. Here is a pitch low and away. Tomorrow afternoon, a late afternoon start, as a matter of fact, in Los Angeles. It'll be night as far as New York fans are concerned. Here's a 1-1 pitch. And it's low for a ball. 2-1. Pittsburgh Pirates did not score in the bottom of the first, and the Chicago Cubs have picked up another run in the top half of the second inning. So going to the bottom of the second, it is the Cubs 5 and the Pirates nothing. Bill Hands against Woody Fryman, knocked out in the first, relieved by Don Cardwell. Ernie Banks had a 3-run homer in the first for the Cubs. Here's a drive into right center field. It could be an in-betweener to the wall for Ron Hunt. Goes all the way to the wall, and Hunt is going to second base and holding up there with a double as the ball is retrieved quickly by Johnny Briggs, the center fielder. So with one man out, the Mets have a runner at second, and Ken Boyer's coming up. He's hitting .268. He has 12 home runs and 52 runs batted in.
Number 14 would be Ken Boyer.
The Phillies on the field have Harvey Keene playing first base this afternoon. Tony Taylor is at second. Dick Roach at shortstop, and Richie Allen is at third base. Ricky Rojas is in left. Johnny Briggs is in center, and John Callison's in right. Bob Uecker is the catcher. The Phillies are leading by a score of 1-0. Short is up and set now. Checks the runner at second base and deals the pitch to Boyer. Swung on and popped up foul. Back into the seats, out of play. Strike one to Ken Boyer. In the American League yesterday, the Minnesota Twins defeated the Yankees 6-1, and then last night the Yankees defeated Minnesota 7-4. League-leading Baltimore Orioles defeated the White Sox 4-1. The Red Sox beat Kansas City 7-0. Detroit beat Cleveland 8-1, and the California Angels beat Washington 7-6. Starting play today in the American League, the Baltimore Orioles are on top, 9 1/2 games ahead of the second place Detroit Tigers. Here is a strike one pitch to Ken Boyer, but first a pickoff attempt at second. It goes into center field, and coming on to third is Ron Hunt. He's getting a green light, and he's going to try to score. Ball is retrieved by Gross. The throw to the plate, he's flagged. He is out at the plate. And now he is up and protesting. Ron Hunt protesting the call of John Kibler as Bob Uecker blocks the plate until he can get the ball from Dick Groat, and Hunt is called out at the plate, and Westrom comes out now. And Westrom is protesting the call briefly and now goes back to the dugout. And Bob Uecker blocks the plate until he can get the ball from Dick Groat. And so Ron Hunt is out at the plate. As the ball was retrieved out in center field on a pickoff attempt, Hunt tried to score all the way from second and is out at the plate. There are 2 men out, and the count is strike one. Here's a swing and a drive in the center field for a base hit. Johnny Briggs is over up with the ball, plays it back, and Ken Boyer turns and holds.
Batting in the fourth position, first baseman
Jim Hickman's the batter now. Hickman's hitting .252. He has 4 home runs and 13 runs batted in. The official scorer says give an error now to Chris Short on the pickoff attempt, which allowed Hunt to move to third base, and then the play at home went 6-2 Dick Grote to Bob Uecker. Now the pitch low for a ball. The Phils are leading by a score of 1-0. That was tying run at the plate as Hunt was called out by umpire John Kibler. There's a swing and a miss as Hickman tried to check his swing. Two men out, Boyer at first. Harvey Keene, the first baseman, holding against him there. Ron Swoboda is waiting on deck. We're in the bottom half of the first inning. Very short checks the runner. Deals 1-1. Breaking ball low to Hickman. It's 2-1. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Swung on, hit on the ground to deep short. It's Grote over, and he placed the second just in time for the force on Boyer. So the side is out. And the Mets get no runs, 2 hits. There was an error and 1 left. The score at the end of an inning is Phillies 1 and the Mets nothing. Tomorrow, a doubleheader here with the Cincinnati Reds in, and then the Reds will be in on Tuesday night. And next weekend, it'll be the Atlanta Braves in for a weekend series. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Tickets are now available at a wide variety of convenient ticket locations. The advanced ticket window here at Shea Stadium is open 7 days a week, 8 to 6 on weekdays and 9 to 5 on Saturdays and Sundays. In Manhattan, the Met ticket office at Grand Central Station is at the foot of the 42nd Street and Vanderbilt Avenue ramp. Open weekdays 8 to 6, Saturdays 8:30 to 4. In Manhattan, at Macy's, 34th Street and 7th Avenue, the Met ticket office is on the main floor near the 7th Avenue entrance. And there is also a Met ticket office at Macy's in Huntington, Long Island, in the Walt Whitman Shopping Center, and it's open during regular store hours. In addition, reservations for box and reserve seats may be made at all Howard closed stores during regular store hours, and also at any branch of the manufacturer's Hanover Trust Company during banking hours. Tickets may be obtained by mail by writing Ticket Manager, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. Box seats are $3.50 each. Reserve seats are $2.50 each. Add 25 cents to each order to cover mailing costs. We're going to the top half of the second inning, and it'll be Harvey Keene up to lead off for the Phillies. He's playing first base today, has a batting average of .267. He has batted in 9 runs. The right-hand batter facing left-hand pitcher Tug McGraw.
22.
First pitch is high for a ball. With Keene at the plate, John Callison has moved out on deck. Against the left-hand pitcher, Callison has moved down to number 6 in the batting order. Pitch is low and away. 2-0. Grote calls time and goes to the mound. With the San Francisco Giants starting Marichal this afternoon, it means one of two things. Either he is not going to work against the Dodgers in the big series in Los Angeles, or he is going to work on extremely short rest.
You know, strangely enough, Lindsay, he and Koufax have hooked up only 2 times in their career.
Here's a pitch low for a ball. You're right. It's been rather strange that they actually have had very little head-to-head competition. Count to Harvey Keene now. It's 3 balls and no strikes. as Tug McGraw deals a pitch that is in there for a call strike, and Keene was taking all the way. It's 3-1. We're in the top half of the second. The Phillies are leading by a score of 1-0. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Swung on, foul out to the right side, out of play. It's full at 3-2. Doug McGraw reads the sign of Jerry Grody. Pitch is swung on and missed. So after going behind 3-0, McGraw comes back to strike out Keene. It is McGraw's first strikeout of the afternoon. John Callison is hitting .284. He has 9 home runs and 48 runs batted in. Bob Uecker moves out to the on-deck circle. Here's a pitch to the left-hand batter, and it's outside for a ball. Tug McGraw, 22 years of age. As a matter of fact, just turned 22. He is 6 feet tall, 170 pounder, from Vallejo, California. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and hit deep to right. That one's way back there. It's going, and it is gone for a home run. Johnny Callison hitting the ball over the 371-foot sign in right field. And the Phillies are out in front by a score of 2-0. So against the left-hand pitcher, Callison has dropped down to the number 6 spot in the order and promptly homered. That brings up Bob Uecker, the catcher, hitting .206, 7 home runs and 23 runs batted in. Of the 36 base hits that Uecker has this season, 7 are home runs. There's one man out, nobody on base, and the pitch is low for a ball. Johnny Briggs is on deck. Here's a pitch, and it's high for a ball. 2-0. Doug McGraw with a 2-0 delivery, and it's a check swing ground ball to the right side. Jim Hickman takes it. He's going to the bag unassisted as Uecker on the check swing was slow getting away from the plate. 2 men out, and Johnny Briggs is coming up. Hitting .298. He has 9 homers and 19 runs batted in. He's a left-hand batter with good speed. Grass pitch. The curveball in there for a called strike. The Mets and the Phillies at Shea Stadium in New York. This one gets away and sails completely over the head of catcher Jerry Grody and all the way back to the screen. 1-1 now to Briggs. Briggs, trying to follow the trajectory of that ball, appeared a little bewildered when he saw where it was going. Two away, nobody on. The Phillies 2 and the Mets nothing. Breaking pitch low. Here's a swing and a drive into right field for a base hit. Taken out there by Cleon Jones and played back, and Briggs turns and holds with a single to right. It brings up the pitcher, Chris Short. He's hitting .209. He's had 18 hits this year.
Short. 1-1.
The Tomorrow a doubleheader here, and the holiday doubleheader starts at 1 p.m. So we'll be on the air tomorrow at 12:55 p.m. New York time. Short's a right-hand batter, and the pitch is low, bounds away, and Briggs moves on to second, and Gertie comes back to retrieve as Briggs turns at second and holds there. Wild pitch. Charged against Turk McGraw. So it moves Briggs into scoring position at second, and the count is ball one to Chris Short. Draw goes over to the rosin bag. Now let's send to Jerry Grody. And set. Checks the runner at second. The 1-0 pitch swung on and looped out into center field. And right there is Billy Murphy, and he makes the catch. He was playing a shallow center field against the pitcher. Sides out. 1 run on 2 hits, and there is 1 left. Score at the end of an inning and a half is Phillies 2 and the Mets nothing.
Going to be late for dinner tonight, dear?
Yeah, I've got to go over that Anderson deal with Fred.
Bob Watson is a nice guy with a nice family and with a nice business to support them. Bob Watson's also a good driver. Not the kind of a guy or driver that you'd normally expect to have to watch out for. Because normally Bob's mind is on his driving.
I can expect about a 34% discount on all items. That should mean a possible margin of, say, 6%. It's not bad.
But this morning, Bob's mind is on business. And that means at the next stop sign, you could get the business from Bob. Tens of thousands of good drivers make bad mistakes, fatal mistakes every year. One of those mistakes may involve you. Expect the unexpected, whenever, wherever you drive, at intersections and oncoming traffic, even behind you. Always drive defensively. Always watch out for the other guy. Mary? I think she's up.
We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is WGY, 810 on your dial, Schenectady, New York.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Cantor and Bob Murphy at Shea Stadium in New York. And Ron Swoboda is up to lead off now for the Mets. Batting number 5 in the batting order. He has an average of 225, 8 home runs, and 46 runs batted in. Left-hander Chris Short on the mound this afternoon for the Phillies. Pitch is swung on and missed for strike 1. Yogi Berra on the coaching lines at first base, and Whitey Herzog is the Met coach at third. Strike 1 delivery. Breaking pitch high, and it's 1-1. Very short with a 1-1 offering, and it is swung on and popped up to the right side. Harvey Keene moves over, so does Tony Taylor. Taylor calls, and the second baseman makes the catch again, stumbling a little as the ball came down at the last moment. One away, Ed pursues the batter. Hitting .231, the shortstop has 10 homers and 46 runs batted in. The end of 2.5 innings at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh. The Cubs 5 and the Pirates nothing. No score yet in St. Louis or in Cincinnati. Strike 1 to Ed Pursuit. The American League at the end of 3 innings now. The Detroit Tigers 2 and the Cleveland Indians 1. Ike Gary against Sam McDowell. Stanley Hobart in the second with nobody on for Detroit. Now Roberto Clemente is homered for Pittsburgh in the third with 1 man on. Here the Pirates 2 runs, and it's the Chicago Cubs 5 and the Pittsburgh Pirates 2. 2-strike count to Ed Pursuit here. Very short with the pitch. Swung on it on the ground to deep short. Backhanded by Grote. Sets and throws, and in time. He got him. 2 away. Dick Grote moved to his right, came up with the ball on the hop, set. The anchor foot and threw on in time. Bill Murphy is the batter. Next center fielder is hitting .223, has 3 homers and 13 runs batted in. We have the warm-ups now in Atlanta. Bob Bruce for the Houston Astros and Don Schwal for the Atlanta Braves. Marichal against Al Jackson in St. Louis. Drysdale against Sam Ellis in Cincinnati. Here's a swing and a miss, strike one. Mets fans here now starting a chant of "Let's go Mets" as the Phils lead by a score of 2-0. This pitch is inside. The warm-ups in Minnesota, Pedro Ramos. Warming up for a start for the Yankees and Jim Cott for the Minnesota Twins. Cott won 21 games. Pitch to Murphy's low. The end of a half inning, the Baltimore Orioles nothing. The Chicago White Sox coming to bat. Eddie Watt against Gary Peters. Boston at Kansas City, doubleheader latest start. Washington at California on a latest start. Here's a swing and a ground ball foul back at third. Pittsburgh Pirates got a total of 4 runs in the bottom half of the third inning. So at the end of 3, it is the Cubs 5 and the Pirates 4. The Pittsburgh Pirates on top in the National League and battling back. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and popped up to short. Dick Groat moves in a step. He's there and makes the catch. So the Mets are out in order here in the bottom of the second. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. Score at the end of 2 innings is the Phillies 2 and the Mets nothing. You can get information on the Mets fan club and obtain tickets as well for the fan club room and a list of the dates available at any of the regular Met ticket outlets or also by writing to Met Fan Club, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York. All fan club tickets have been exhausted except for the following dates. September 27th, Cleon Jones. September 30th, Bob Shaw. October 1st, Al Luplo. The Lady Met Club invites you to bring a used toy. That's not a broken toy, but a used toy to the fan club meeting when you come. It will be sent to a hospital or an orphanage in the name of the player that you are visiting. So the only dates this season for which there are fan club tickets remaining are September 27th, Cleon Jones. September 30th, Bob Shaw, and October 1st, Al Luplo. Through 2 innings, the Phils have 2 runs on 5 hits and 1 error. The Mets have no runs, 2 hits, no errors. As we go to the top of the third, coming in here for the play-by-play, Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Lindsay, and hi there, everyone. The first man up for the Philadelphia Phillies will be Tony Taylor, followed by Cookie Rojas and Dick Groat. On the mound for the Mets, Doug McGraw, he has given up 2 runs and 5 hits. In the first, he gave up 3 hits. And in the second, the Phillies got 2. McGraw has struck out 1, walked none. The lights have been turned on here at Shea Stadium. It's a murky day. And the first pitch to Tony Taylor, who singled his first time up, is called a strike. Taylor batting .247 with 5 home runs and 33 runs batted in. And the left-hander into the windup and back again. And this time a curveball is looked at, strike 2. And with the lights coming on, the rain has started to fall again. Umbrellas going up and some of the fans scurrying back under the stands. 2-strike count on Tony Taylor. Little drizzle before the ball game, and it stopped as the game got underway. A swing and a foul tip out of the glove of Jerry Grody. Tony Taylor walks out in front of the plate to pick up the ball. It's being checked out now by John Kibler and now thrown out of play. A new ball in. Count remaining at 0-2. Tony Taylor, one of the few ball players to have been seen playing in Europe while playing in the United States. He was at bat when Telstar's first tried out in the Cup ball game with the Philadelphia Phillies. High fly ball into center field. Billy Murphy moving over toward center field to his left side, making the catch for the out. That'll bring up Cookie Rojas. Say, the Rheingold Chug-A-Mug is a wide-mouthed glass mug that holds 12 ounces of beer. And it even feels right when you pick it up. We're selling them in handy cartons of 6, and they're just about the handiest thirst quenchers in town. Cookie Rojas stepping in. Rojas batting .273. Sacrificed his first time up, and the first pitch bounces away in the dirt. It's ball one. Rojas with 6 home runs and 50 runs batted in. Six home runs for Cookie is all-time high for one season. Now he lines one to right center field. It's a base hit coming over to cut it off, and he does. It's Cleon Jones, and Rojas holds it first. So Cookie has a base hit.
Shortstop.
That is hit number 6 off Doug McGraw, and with one man away, the batter will be Dick Gross. Dick singled his first time up, so he's 1 for 1. His average at .258, the highest it's been this year. Last year he batted .254 for the St. Louis Cardinals. And the first pitch is low, and it's ball one. Rode in last night's ball game 3 for 4. He has had 4 hits in his last 5 times up to get his average up to .258. Dick, a former National League batting champion. Batted .325 in 1960 when the Pirates won their last pennant. Now the 1-0 to Labrie at 2-0 for ball 2. Fastball missing. 2 balls, no strikes. The Giants scored 3 runs in the top of the first, and they are now defending against the St. Louis Cardinals. Juan Marichal pitching for the Giants, and Al Jackson starting for the Cardinals, weathering the storm as the Giants picked up 3 in the first.
We'll be back to the game in just a moment. We would like to make this announcement. We have received a phone call from the Shaker Road Fire Department in Loudonville that their phone is out. So if you have a fire or any trouble that you wish to report to the fire department on Shaker Road in Loudonville, the number to call is State 5 5822. That number again, State 5 5822. Now once again, back to Mets baseball.
Phillies lead 2-0 with 1 man out in the top of the third. Now the left-hander sets and comes back to the plate. And Dick Gross takes the called strike. 3 balls, 1 strike. Warming up in the bullpen now for the New York Mets, Bob Friend. Draw has given up 2 runs, allowed 6 hits through 2 1/3 innings. Now at 3-1, he looks at first base. Comes to the plate, and the pitch is over. Strike 2. And Dick Gross taking all the way to try and get on base for Richie Allen. So the count has gone to 3-2. Dick does not strike out often as a fine hit-and-run man, so you'd have to figure that the runner, Cookie Rojas, at first base, will be going on the pitch. Phillies hoping to stay out of the double play. Now a lob throw again to first base as Tug does it before getting on the pitching rubber. He takes his signs off the rubber and then steps on to make his delivery to the plate. Here's the pitch. The runner does not go, and the ball is popped up. Second baseman Ron Hunt is under the ball, and he makes the catch right on the baseline between first and second for the out. That'll bring up Richie Allen.
Number 50.
Richie Allen in this series 5 for 10 with 3 home runs, 5 runs batted in, and 2 doubles. Overall, Richie Allen has had 25 hits and 67 times up against the Mets this year with 6 home runs. And the pitch to him is inside. It's ball 1. He came into this ball game with a .364 average against the Mets this year and got a double his first time up to drive in a run. He was thrown out trying to stretch it into a 3-base hit on a fine play from the right fielder, Cleon Jones. There's a long drive to left field. Going back in the warning track is Juan Svoboda, and he makes the catch. That retires the side, and in the inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Phillies 2, the Mets nothing. Did you ever stop to think of how many lonesome travelers there are here and yonder and how thirsty they get?
Well, I am a lonely and a lonesome traveler. I am a lonely and a lonesome traveler. I am a lonely and a lonesome traveler. I've been traveling on. I travel here and then
From California to New York, the American folk singer travels here and yonder, carrying with him the music of the whole world and its peoples. And sometimes when the traveling gets thirsty, he puts down his guitar and accompanies himself with a cold beer, maybe Rheingold. And in New York City, where more songs and travelers stop than anywhere else in the world, more people buy Rheingold Extra Dry than any other beer. How come? Maybe it's the Oregon hops we use. Who knows? But we must be doing something right.
Going to the bottom half of the third, the Mets trailing 2-0, and Jerry Grote leading off for the Mets. On the mound for the Phillies, Chris Short. He has given up no runs, allowed 2 hits. They both came in the first, a double and a single. The single coming after Ron Hunt had tried to score from second base after a ball had been thrown away when they tried to pick him off at second. He was thrown out at the plate on a good play and an extremely close call. Ken Boyer getting a single after that play. Now the first pitch to Jerry Grote. It's high, it's a ball. Jerry with an average of 221, 3 home runs and 30 runs batted in. Right-hand batter. Chris Short, a left-hander, back again. The pitch is swung on. It's strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck batter, Tug McGraw. He'll be followed by Cleon Jones. Now at 1-1, the pitch back is outside, and the count goes up to 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, we understand that an old Brooklyn Dodger fan and New York Met fan now, Hilda Chester, is very ill. We'd like to send on our best wishes for a very speedy recovery. Certainly miss her here at the ballpark. He was a part of the scene. She was the scene at Ebbets Field. Now a hard smash right through the legs of Chris Short into center field for a base hit by Jerry Grote. So the Mets have their third hit, their lead batter at first base, and Tug McGraw coming up. The Mets are trailing by 2. Tug has been at bat 14 times with 3 hits. He's batting .214, not a bad hitter. Bat from the right-hand side, which does not hurt him at all against the left-hander, Chris Short. At the end of 3, the Cubs 5, the Pittsburgh Pirates 4. Cubs got 4 runs in the first inning. Pittsburgh coming back, led by Roberto Clemente with another home run, a 2-run homer. It was his 24th. Now the first pitch to Tug McGraw. It's bunted on and fouled down in the dirt, strike 1. Rain still falling here at Shea Stadium, a very light drizzle. Weather report for tomorrow's Labor Day doubleheader with the Cincinnati Reds is good. Supposed to clear. And it's going to be a big doubleheader with Jack Fisher and Dick Selma pitching for the Mets against Milt Pappas and Jim O'Toole. Game time will be at 1 o'clock. That is the last doubleheader of the 1966 season here in Shea Stadium.
At Crosley Field in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's the New York Mets meeting the Cincinnati Reds. National League Baseball with the New York Mets is brought to you by Rheingold, New York's largest selling beer. What makes Rheingold New York's favorite? Maybe it's our Danish malt. Whatever it is, we must be doing something right.
Tonight's game is also brought to you by WGY, your sports station for the great Northeast. WGY brings you the full schedule of Mets regular season games live from Major League parks throughout the country.
Crosley Field on a chilly evening for baseball and the final Saturday night game between the Mets and the Cincinnati Reds here in Crosley Field. Starting pitchers for the game tonight, for the Mets, Bob Shaw, strong-arm right-hander, and he'll be opposed by Milt Pappas, who has been involved in a lot of discussion here in Cincinnati as he was involved in the trade that sent Frank Robinson, who will be the most valuable player in the American League and who has a chance to be the Triple Crown winner in the American League. Milt Pappas coming over with Jack Balsam and Dick Simpson for Frank Robinson. Pappas so far this year has a record of 10 wins and 11 losses, and Bob Shaw pitching for the Mets comes into this ball game with a record of 11 wins and 13 losses. The umpires are at home plate, and they're going over the grounds rules, so we'll be back with the start of tonight's game and the lineups in just 1 minute.
This is Stuart Queen reporting from Washington. From the rock-lined promontories of New England's coastline, westward across the nation to the prairie country of the American Midwest, to the Great Divide in the Rockies, and westward again to the sequoias of California. This is America, where beauty and nature combine to make up the green lawns of our recreational playgrounds. All this belongs to you and to me. It's part of our heritage, this pride in natural beauty. You can walk the trails of the Appalachians, swim and fish the lakes and streams, and relax in the quiet desert splendor of the great Southwest. These are the glories of this nation's natural beauty. The National Wildlife Federation wants you to learn more about beauty and nature. For free information, write the National Wildlife Federation, Department 44, Washington, D.C. That's the National Wildlife Federation, Department 44, Washington, D.C.
Well, the action in the National League still fast and furious. The Dodgers got beat by Chicago today, and the Dodgers' lead cut to 1.5 games as the Pittsburgh Pirates came from behind to defeat Atlanta. Pirates are in second place, 1.5 games back. The Giants won, so they are still in the race. They are 4 games back. And right here, the Mets battling against the Cincinnati Reds. The leadoff batter for the Mets will be Bud Harrelson, playing shortstop. Batting second and playing third base, Chuck Hiller. Batting third, playing second base, back in the lineup, Ron Hunt. Batting fourth and playing right field, Al Luplow. The fifth batter will be the center fielder, Cleon Jones. Batting sixth and playing first base, Ed Kranepool. Batting seventh and catching, Bob Hawk Taylor. Batting eighth and playing left field, Danny Napoleon. And the pitcher, Bob Shaw, will be batting in the ninth position. The Mets and Reds have just about used up their schedule. They have played a total of 15 games. With this game and a doubleheader tomorrow left, the Reds have won 9, the Mets have won 6. And now the Reds take the field. Right here in Cincinnati, out of 6 games played, the Reds have won 4 and they have lost 2. And last night, Jim Maloney pitched a shutout against the Mets as the Reds won it by a score of 7-0. And now from Crosley Field, the 4 quarters will sing the national anthem. Of the national anthem by the 4 quarters, and I guess you have to believe the stories that you read about inflation, because 5 fellas were singing as the 4 quarters. The starting lineup for the Cincinnati Reds: Tommy Harper will lead off and play in right field. Batting second, playing second base, Tommy Helm. Batting third and playing in center field, Vada Pinson. Batting fourth and playing third base, Darren Johnson. Batting fifth, playing first base, Lee May. Batting sixth in left field, Art Shamsky. The seventh batter will be the catcher, Don Pavletic. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Leo Cardenas. And the pitcher, Milt Pappas, batting ninth. Milt just taking the mound in preparation to take his warm-up pitches. This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Rheingold Breweries Incorporated, Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation, and the Sun Oil Company, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. Well, the temperature here at game time, somewhere around the 60-degree mark, and it's scheduled to get on down into the 40s a little bit later on. No wind at all blowing at this point. Outfield fences 328 down the left field line, 383 in center field, 366 in the right field area, with it 360 in right center field. Check of the scores before this game in the National League. Pittsburgh scored 5 runs in the top of the 7th inning to win their ball game against the Atlanta Braves 8-6. Winning pitcher was Steve Blass. The losing pitcher was Oliva. Menke, Bailey, Oliver, and Clemente home runs. Clemente's home run putting the Pirates in front by a score of 8-6. Cubs beat the Dodgers 4-0. A 4-hitter for Ferguson Jenkins. It was his 6th win. He's lost 7. Losing pitcher was Joe Moeller. No home runs in that ball game. And the Giants in 13 won it by a score of 9-5 over the Houston Astros. Underway, St. Louis 3, Philadelphia nothing at the end of 2.5. Right now, we're all set to go. And the first pitch of the ball game by Milt Pappas is swung on and missed. It's strike one. The batter is Bud Harrelson. Bud batting from the left-hand side against the right-hander with an average of 203. And now the right-hander back again, and the pitch is swung on and missed again. It's strike 2. So Pappas quickly out in front with a 2-strike count. Harrelson has no home runs. He's driven in 4. He has had 1 2-base hit and 3 3-base hits. Darren Johnson defensed in tight against him at third base, and a 2-strike pitch is high. Darren Johnson at third base, Leo Cardenas at shortstop, Tommy Helms at second base, and Lee May, he spells his name M-A-Y, not the Lee May with the Atlanta Braves, and then later on with the Houston Astros. Now foul ball to the left side. The count stays at 1-2. Lee May at first base. In the outfield, Art Shamsky shaded near the foul line. In left field, very shallow. Veda Pinson in center field, also extremely shallow. And Tommy Harper in right field. The catcher is Don Pavletic. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Pappas back again. The pitch is swung on and foul tipped and juggled and caught by the catcher, Don Pavletic. So, the first man of the ball game, Bud Harrelson, struck out, and that brings up Chuck Hiller. Chuck, a left-hand batter, hitting .299 with 2 home runs and 14 runs batted in. And Milt Pappas with the first pitch to Hiller. It's a high slider, ball 1. The umpires, Billy Williams behind home plate, Frank Desalan at first base, his second major league game, Tom Gorman at second base, and Lee Wire at third. Next pitch is swung on and foul tipped, held on to by the catcher Pavletic. The count 1-1. Coaching at first base, Yogi Berra, and the coach at third is Whitey Herzog. Pappas leaning over to take the signs, now into the windup and back again. And the next pitch is foul tipped into the glove of Pavletic. Pavletic now has picked up 3 foul tips. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Milt Pappas working. He's 27 years of age, 6'3", 195 pounds, lives in the same town as Jack Fisher in Maryland. And the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3. And a high fastball sends Chuck Hiller back to the bench. 2 strikeouts in a row as Pappas pitches to his first 2 men in the ball game, and it brings up Ron Hunt. Pappas lives in Timonium, Maryland. Last year he won 10 and lost 11. Should say that's this year's record, 10 and 11. He's 2-1 against the Mets. Last year he was 13 and 9 in the American League. Ron Hunt, the batter, and the first pitch to Ron is a breaking ball. It's outside, a ball. Hunt batting .281 with 3 home runs and 32 runs batted in. And Pappas back with a fastball. It's flying over the shortstop's head into left center field for a base hit. So Ron holds at first base as the ball is fielded by Veda Pinson, and the Mets have the first base hit of the ball game and the first base runner. That'll bring up Al Luplow. Al, a left-hand batter, hitting .255. Al has had 7 home runs this year and has driven in 31. And Pappas from the stretch position for the first time. His first pitch is a fastball high inside. It's ball 1. Pappas has been high so far in this ball game. He's a sinker ball pitcher and usually works down low. He had a lifetime record in the American League of 104 wins and 86 losses. 1-0 pitch is taken high again. It's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. On deck batter, Cleon Jones. Mets saw a little hitting action against Jim Maloney in the first game of the series last night. Jim pitching a 7-0 victory. Mets got a total of 5 hits. Next pitch, a changeup. It's too low, and it's ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Maloney in the ballgame struck out 13. That's as high as he has gone in the strikeout record this year. His all-time high for a 9-inning ball game, 16, and he has struck out 18 in one game. That was a game against the Mets that went 11 innings, which he lost 1-0. Next pitch is called a strike, and the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Ron Hunt at first base, being held there by Lee May. Ron bothered to the latter part of the season with a series of injuries. He has a very short lead. Could be going on the pitch. He does not go, and the pitch is swung on and foul tipped. Also held on to, and so Pavletic has had himself quite a night so far and foul tipped. That's 4 that he has caught. Count at 3-2, and Ron Hunt will be a cinch to be going on this pitch. 2 men away. We're in the top of the first, no score. Ron not being held on. The first baseman looking for defensive room, and the pitch is fouled off as Hunt is going, and the count stays at 3-2. Pappas has started off in workmanlike fashion. He has been throwing quickly, not wasting any time. Ron again back to first base, and Lee May is still back behind the bag looking for room with a left-hand batter hitting. Outfield shallow all the way around. Now Hunt goes. The 3-2 pitch is hit deep to right field, high in the air, though. And going over with the room near the foul line is Tommy Harper, and the ball drifts in the foul territory, out of play. So Hunt, who was already around third base, cuts across the diamond back to first base, still limping. And Al Luplow will have another shot at a 3-2 pitch. In case you haven't heard, the Cubs beat the Dodgers and Pittsburgh beat Atlanta, and the Giants beat Houston. So it's a 1.5 lead for the Dodgers, and they have a 4-game lead over the Giants. Now again, the 3-2 pitch, and this one is fouled off again. Ball drifting out of play, and Al Luplow keeps the count going. In the American League, at the end of 4, no score, Cleveland at Kansas City. Chicago beat Washington 6-2. Baltimore scheduled against the Angels out in California. Detroit beat Minnesota 8-1. And after 7 1/2 innings, the Yankees won, Boston nothing. Fritz Peterson working on that game for the Yankees. McMahon has relieved Jim Lomberg for the Red Sox. Now again, the 3-2 pitch, and this one's in fair territory. Popped up in the shallow center field. Tommy Helm is backpedaling and making the catch to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, a man left on base, and the score after 1/2 innings, the Mets nothing, the Cincinnati Reds coming up.
The National Safety Council presents its president, Howard Pyle.
The average American works hard and enjoys playing hard. We revel in our recreational hours and find much pleasure in excelling at competitive sports. Unfortunately, the accident frequency rates that too often spoil our fun indicate that many of us haven't learned one of the basic fundamentals of having fun. That is that the safe way is the right way. To be sure, there are calculated risks in sport, and the National Safety Council has no desire to be a spoil sport. Enjoy life and make it even more enjoyable by doing it safely. The rules are simple enough. Reasonable care and protective equipment will help you get a full measure of trouble-free enjoyment from your recreational activity.
To the bottom half of the first inning, the Mets did not score in the top half of the first, and the Reds are now coming up. They'll have Tommy Harper, Tommy Helms, and Vada Pinson as their first 3 batters. On the mound for the Mets is Bob Shaw. Some college football finals. Army beat Boston College 14-0. Ohio State beat TCU 14-7. Missouri beat Illinois 21-14. Princeton over Rutgers 16-12. North Carolina defeated North Carolina State 10-7. And Michigan State winning 42-8 over Penn State. Georgia Tech beat Vanderbilt 42-0. Tommy Harper, the first man up for the Reds, the right-hand batter with an average of .273. Tommy has hit 5 home runs, and he has driven in a total of 27. And Bob Shaw with a record of 11-13, and the first pitch is hit deep to short, picked up by Harrelson, but his perfect throw is too late. Bud making a fine play to even get the ball to first base. So Tommy Harper starts off with an infield hit, and he can fly down that line. He leads the club in stolen bases. And the Reds have their first hit of the ball game. Harper has 27 stolen bases this year. So the Mets have to worry about the fact that he might be going. The batter is Tommy Helms. Tommy batting .288 with 9 home runs and 47 runs batted in. And Bob Shaw in the set position. His first pitch is a curveball. It's too high for a ball. Shaw, 33 years of age, 6'2", 190 pounds, from Jupiter, Florida. He is 10-9 with the Mets this year, coming over to the Mets from San Francisco, where he had a 1-4 record. Against the Reds, he has 1-1 and lost none this year. Lifetime against Cincinnati is 2-5, and the next pitch is popped up in the shallow center field. Cleon Jones moving in, and Cleon makes the catch, and Tommy Harper, who was halfway down toward second base, goes back to first. Mets get their first out here in the bottom half of the first. That brings up Vada Pinson. Vada had his 16th home run in last night's ball game in the first inning. The Reds scored 6 runs in the first inning when they beat the Mets 7-0 last night, knocking Dennis Ryman out of the box. Tommy Harper with a pretty good-sized lead. He's going, and the pitch is outside, dropped by Hawk Taylor, and Tommy Harper has a stolen base. That is his 28th stolen base this year. Mets catcher is Hawk Taylor. At first base, Ed Crane Poole. At second base, Ron Hunt. At shortstop, Bud Harrelson. At third base, Chuck Hiller. Danny Napoleon in left field. Cleon Jones in center. Al Luplo in right. Now a swing and a miss on a breaking pitch, and the count evens out at 1-1. Indication by Bill Williams the ball was foul tipped. Benson batting .290 with 16 home runs and 75 runs batted in. He's had 32 two-base hits. And the next pitch to the left-hand batter is a curveball hit down to second. Ron Hunt moves to his right. He has the ball, fires to first base in time for the out there as Tommy Harper moves over to third. 2 men away for the Mets in the bottom half of the first, no score, and the batter coming up is Darren Johnson. Darren back in the lineup after being out for 4 days. His average now up to 260, and he has driven in 79 runs after a very slow start. He's hit 24 home runs. Right-hand batter playing at third base. Pete Rose is out of the lineup with a jammed hand. First game that he had missed in a long time was last night. First pitch is too low, and it's called a ball. Pete had played in 339 consecutive games for the Reds before missing last night's game. He had 26 in 1964, played in all the games in 65, 162, and had played in 151 this season. Frank McCormick holds the all-time record for the Reds of games played in consecutive succession, if that's the way to put it, 652. Next pitch is grounded out toward the shortstop, Bud Harrelson. He has the ball near the bag. It's thrown to first base, retires aside. So, both sides with 2 big innings, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left. And the score at the end of 1, the Mets nothing, the Reds nothing. Well, we'd like to remind you that the Mets are coming home for 5 remaining games at Shea Stadium. They'll be playing Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon against the Cubs, and then play Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon against Houston. On September 27th, Tuesday night, the Mets will have Cleon Jones in the Mets fan club room. On September 30th, it'll be Bob Shaw, and October 1st, Al Luplo. That's the Friday night game with Houston with Bob Shaw, and the Saturday night game with Al Luplo. For tickets to the Mets fan club room, just right to the Mets fan club, Shea Stadium, Flushing, New York, or you can pick them up at any Mets regular ticket outlet. And if you'd like to do this, it'd be a nice idea. Bring a used toy, not a broken one, a used one. And the Lady Met Club will see that it gets to a needy child in the name of the player that you are visiting. The Philadelphia Phillies have scored 5 runs in the bottom half of the third, and they have taken the lead away from the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 5-3. Al Jackson working for the Cardinals with a record of 13-13. Jim Bunning going for the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies will be very much involved in the National League race in the coming weeks, playing against the Pittsburgh Pirates and the San Francisco Giants. Cubs beat the Dodgers 4-0. They have 8 games left. They lead by a game and a half. Pirates beat Atlanta 8-6. They are a game and a half out with 7 games left to play. Now it's Milt Pappas to start off the second. His first pitch to Cleon Jones is outside for a ball. No score in the ball game, each side with a base hit. Cleon, a right-hand batter, with an average of 274. Next pitch is hit down toward the first base side. A great play on it by Lee May. He falls to the ground and then comes up throwing to get the man at first. Ball was between Lee May and the foul line. He made a diving catch of it, slid on the ground to come up with it with a one-hand play, and then from a sitting position made the throw to Milt Pappas, covering at first base against Cleon Jones in time. Well, so far, the best play of the game is Cleon Jones is out. That brings up Eddie Kranepool. Kranepool, a left-hand batter, has hit in 5 consecutive games. He has an average of 253. And the first pitch is a fastball over at the knees, just above the knees. It's called a strike. Kranepool, with 15 home runs, leads the club in that department. and he has driven in 54. Ken Boyer leads the club in RBIs with 61. Now a swing and a miss at strike 2. No score in the game. One away. We're in the top of the second. Giants won the day. It took them 13 innings. They scored 5 runs in the 13th. They won it by a score of 9-5. They're 4 games back. Next pitch is popped up in foul territory. Darren Johnson has room for it. He moves over near the stands and makes the catch. Now with 2 men out, the batter will be the catcher, Bob Hawk Taylor. Giants are 4 games out with 8 games left to play. Willie Mays in that ball game hit a home run in the 9th inning for the man on, his 35th and 540 in his major league career. Hawk Taylor, a right-hand batter with an average of 123. And Milt Pappas gets a strike with his first pitch. High fastball in there. Hawk has had some timely hits, one of them being a grand slam home run this year. That came as a pinch hit, the first one the Mets have ever had. Now a slider that is just outside. The count 1-1. Well, the Yankees have won their game with the Boston Red Sox, a fine 1-0 shutout by Fritz Peterson. His record now 12-11. Slider hit out toward right field, a long run for Tommy Harper, but he has the speed to get to it, and he makes the catch. That retires the side, a 1-2-3 inning for Milt Pappas, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings, the Mets nothing, the Cincinnati Reds nothing. Now here's a word from Rheingold.
I'm the I don't know the reason. I can't tell you why. More people like Rheingold, they're extra dry. But we must be doing something. Yes, we must be doing something right. Yes, we must be doing something. Woo! We must be doing something right. Pour me another mug of that Rheingold. Exercise here. Woo! Yes, we must be doing something. Woo! We must be doing something right. Rheingold.
Moving now to the bottom half of the second inning. No score in the ball game as the Mets play the Cincinnati Reds here on Saturday night. And while we wait for Bob Shaw to complete his warm-up pitches, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Your station for sports in the great Northeast, WGY Schenectady, the smoothest sound around.
Ralph Kiner along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Crosley Field. Lee May will lead off for the Reds here in the bottom half of the second. Lee playing at first base, the right-hand batter, with an average of 262. And Bob Shaw, who has given up 1 hit, starts off the second with a curveball. It's inside for a ball. Tommy Harper beat out an infield hit as the first batter in the ballgame for the Reds in the first. He stole second base, got as far as third in the ground ball to second base by Veda Pinson, but was left there as Darren Johnson grounded out to short. Now the next pitch to Lee May, line to left field, charging quickly is Danny Napoleon, and he makes the catch. That ball well hit, but right at Danny Napoleon as he came in quickly on the line drive for the first out here in the second against the Reds. That brings up Art Shamsky, who has done something that few do in the major leagues. He has hit 4 consecutive home runs and 4 consecutive appearances at the plate. 2 of them came as a pinch hitter. He has not played in the regular lineup, but has batted 19 home runs over the wall. His average, 227. A left-hand batter in the first pitch gets by Hawk Taylor. Fastball outside. It's ball 1. Shamsky has driven in 41 runs. And this is his 90th game this year. He's been at bat only 216 times. No score in the game. One man out, bottom half of the second. Shaw back again, and this time a slider is hit down to third on the check swing. Picked up by Chuck Keller. The throw to first base is in plenty of time for the out. Shamsky trying to hold up, got enough with the bat on the ball to ground out to third. Now with 2 men away here in the bottom half of the second, the batter will be the catcher, Don Pavletti. Don batting .294. Don has alternated behind the plate with Johnny Edwards, and Don has had himself quite a year compared to John. John has had an off year this year. The first pitch by Shaw, fastball over the inside corner, it's a strike. Johnny Edwards has batted .192 this year with only 6 home runs. His last season's effort was a .267 year. Pavletic has hit 11 home runs with a .294 average. Now Shaw back again, and the pitch is hit foul to the right side off the end of the bat. So Bob picks up a strike. The count goes to 0-2. 2 men away. We're in the bottom half of the second, no score. Each side with a base hit. Tommy Harper with a base hit for the Reds, and Ron Hunt with a base hit for the Mets. Mets have won 61 games this year. The Reds have won 73. The Reds were picked to be one of the top clubs in the National League at the start of the season. Many, many days have gone by since then. And now Pavletti goes down as the fastball is right over the top of his head. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Don Hefner was the starting manager for the Reds. He's been replaced by Dave Bristol, who was his third base coach at the start of the season. Dave, a minor league director in the farm system for the Reds for many years, never got as high as Major League Baseball as a player. In fact, the highest he ever played was Class B ball. And his first shot of the major leagues as a third base coach and now as a manager. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Sidearm slider outside. It's off the glove of Hawk Taylor, and it goes on by. And the count goes to 2-2. When the Reds were in New York City the last time, on our pregame show on television, I asked Dave Bristol if he had a contract offered to him for next year, and he said no, but he intended to have one offered, would be very disappointed if he didn't. Here's a 2-2 pitch. It's grounded out to third. Chuck Hiller has a 2-hopper. He handles the hop, throws to first base to retire the side. So a 1-2-3 inning in this game, a duplicate all the way down the line for both pitchers. And the score at the end of 2, the Mets nothing, the Reds nothing. Now let's take a good look at the scoreboard. Pittsburgh defeated Atlanta by a score of 8-6. They scored 5 runs in the top of the 7th. The winning pitcher was Steve Blass. Pete Mickelson picked up a save in the ballgame. Olivo was the losing pitcher. Menke, Bailey, Oliver, and Clemente home runs. Clemente's 27th home run of the year put the Pittsburgh Pirates in front by the score of 8-6. The game was tied up on the double by Gene Alley, the shortstop. He scored ahead of the home run by Clemente. At the end of 3.5 innings, Philadelphia 5, St. Louis 4. Nelson Briles pitching in place of Al Jackson for the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Bunning, the starting pitcher for the Phillies. The Cubs beat the Dodgers 4-0. The winning pitcher was Ferguson Jenkins. His record now 6-7. He pitched to 4 hitters, and Joe Moeller was the losing pitcher. San Francisco scored 5 runs in the top of the 13th. They beat Houston by a 9-5 score. The winning pitcher was Bob Pretty in relief. Mays had his 35th home run in the 9th inning with a man on, and Zachary was the losing pitcher in that ball game. Giants are in third place, still in the race, 4 games back, and Pittsburgh, by winning, picking up a full game in the Dodgers. They trail by a game and a half. In the American League, at the end of 4, no score. Cleveland against Kansas City. Louis Tiant pitching for the Indians against Lindblad. White Sox beat Washington 6-2. The winning pitcher Pizarro in relief. The losing pitcher McCormick. King a home run in the 8th with no one on. Baltimore scheduled against the California Angels out on the coast. Detroit beat Minnesota 8-1. The winning pitcher was Wickersham. The losing pitcher was Merritt. Cash a home run in the 6th with 2 men on. And the Yankees beat Boston 1-0 as Fritz Peterson picked up the win. Now Danny Napoleon, the leadoff for the Mets here in the top of the third. And the first pitch by Milt Pappas is called a strike. In that Yankee game, Jim Blomberg was the losing pitcher. And there were no home runs. Boston getting 6 hits and the Yankees getting 4. Now a hard smash by the first baseman into right field by Napoleon, a base hit. And he stops at first base as Tommy Harper sends the ball in. And the Mets have their second base hit in the ball game. That brings up Bob Shaw. Say, when you pull the tab of the new Rheingold Extra Dry Chug-A-Mug, the top comes off with a hiss that sounds like the good Rheingold flavor inside. 6 12-ounce mugs to the carton, and you'll find them in the Chug-A-Mug display at your local store or tavern. Bob Shaw, right-hand batter, batting .250, and the Reds looking for the bunt. First pitch is taken low and away, and it's ball 1, and Bob Shaw was out to bunt. Bob has had 13 hits and 52 times up. He's driven in 2 runs. No score on this one. It's the top of the third, no one out. Mets with a runner at first base. Now the next pitch is called a strike, and that evens the count at 1-1. Aaron Johnson, the third baseman, right on top of Bob Shaw, no more than about 20 feet away when the pitch arrived at the plate. Also charging from first base is Lee May. Now Milt Pappas sets up again. And Shaw does not bunt this time. He swings away, but he misses. It's strike 2. Counted 1-2. Pappas with a breaking pitch, picking up his second strike. Now Pappas sets again. And his next delivery is bunted high in the air, foul back of home plate, and that'll go as a strikeout. 2-strike try on the bunt, fouled off, is scored as a strikeout, a put out for the catcher. And it brings up Bud Harrelson. That is the third strikeout for Milt Pappas. He struck out his first 2 batters, now has picked up his third. Harrelson striking out his first time up. Batting now for the second time. Left-hand batter, and Darren Johnson is again right on top. Very close at third. And the first pitch is fouled off at strike 1. Bud, with his one time at bat in this ball game, having his average at the 200 mark. Bud has been at bat 75 times with 15 base hits. Danny Napoleon is on at first base. 1 away. We're in the top of the third. There's no score in the game. And Milt Pappas back again. And the pitch is fouled off again. Strike 2. Two-strike count on Bud Harrelson. Bud in his first season in the major leagues, coming up from Jacksonville. Switch hitter. And his 2-strike delivery is outside. A fastball missing high and away, and it's 1-2. Well, one of the things that any Major League Ball club looks for is a young shortstop that can play in the major leagues for a long period of time. That's the nucleus of a fine ball club. Napoleon is running. The pitch is taken high. The throw to the shortstop is in time, and Danny Napoleon is thrown out. Leo Cardenas covering that second base, making the tag. That was Danny Napoleon's first try at a stolen base. And he was thrown out in a fine, quick throw by Dime Pavlettic. The count now 2-2 on the pitch that was high and away. And at 2-2, Pappas comes back high again, and the count fills out to 3 balls and 2 strikes. The Mets club leader in stolen bases is Cleon Jones. He has stolen 16 out of 23. Behind him is Bud Harrelson, who has stolen 7 out of 7. He grounds the next pitch down toward third base. Aaron Johnson picks it up, fires over to first base, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base. And the score after 2.5 innings, the Mets nothing, the Reds nothing.
That's Bugles and Drums, and you'll hear that each evening Monday through Friday at 5:45 on WGY when I bring you Spotlight on Sports, the only full 15-minute radio program in the area devoted exclusively to sports news of the day. This is Bill Carpenter inviting you to hear Sports Spotlight each day and to tune in Mondays and Thursdays at 5 minutes past 7 p.m. for 2 new programs of auto racing news, Northeast Racing Roundup on Mondays and Speedway Highlights on Thursdays. And these programs are only part of WGY's extensive and intensive coverage of sports. Monday through Friday at 6:15, horse racing fans will like Howard Tupper's Track Talk. Golf enthusiasts will enjoy Bill Edwardson's Golf Talk on Thursdays at 6:35 p.m. with questions from golfers and answers from pros. All this, plus Mets baseball and national sports coverage from NBC on WGY, your reliable station for sports in 26 counties of New York and New England.
We're going to the bottom half of the third of a scoreless ball game. First man up will be Leo Cardenas for the Cincinnati Reds here in the third. Leo batting against Bob Shaw, who has given up 1 hit, allowed no runs. The base hit going to Tommy Harper as the leadoff batter in the ball game. And the first pitch to Cardenas is a breaking pitch that swung on a strike. Cardenas batting .256 with 19 home runs and 79 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Milt Pappas and then back to Tommy Harper. And Bob again back, and the 1 strike pitch is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. At the end of 4, the St. Louis Cardinals trailing Philadelphia 5-4. Phillies getting 5 runs in the bottom half of the third. 1-1 delivery is again a breaking ball, and this one misses outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Al Jackson started that game for the Cardinals. Came in with a record of 13 wins and 13 losses. Nelson Briles is now pitching. Fox has taken over for Jim Bunning, who was the starting pitcher in that ball game. Jim with a record of 17-12. The 2-1 pitch is again a breaking ball and again outside. And that puts the count at 3 balls and 1 strike. Pittsburgh Pirates go to Philadelphia to play on the 26th, 27th, and 28th, and then finish up at home against the Giants on the 30th, the 1st and 2nd of October. That means that Jim Bunning will be available for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's a 3-1 pitch, fouled away, and the count goes to 3-2. Pirates have 1 more game left with Atlanta prior to going to Philadelphia. The Dodgers have 1 more game left at Chicago. Sandy Koufax is going tomorrow in that one. Then they play the St. Louis Cardinals, a 4-game set starting on the 26th, and finish up against Philadelphia on the 30th and 1st and 2nd. The Giants have 1 more game left at Houston, and then go to Atlanta for 3, and then finish up with Pittsburgh. 3-2 pitch is fouled off, and the count stays at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So it's going to be rather interesting as we follow the National League pennant race right on down to the end. Dodgers in front by a game and a half. The Giants are in 3rd place, behind the Pirates, 4 games back. Now it's 3-2 again, the pitch, and it's lined into right center field for a base hit. Coming over is Al Lupo to head it off, and Leo Cardenas stops at first. So the hits are all even now at 2 apiece as Cardenas comes up with 1 with no one out here in the bottom half of the third, and that brings up the pitcher, Milt Pappas.
Hi there, sports fans. This is Red Rush, along with Bob Elson, speaking to you from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts, where today our Chicago White Sox take on the league-leading Boston Red Sox in the 3rd game of a 4-game series against these tough Boston Red Sox players. It'll be a battle of right-handers today. Big right-hander Jim Lonborg, who has won 18 and lost 6, will be making his 32nd start of the year for the Boston Red Sox with an 18 and 6 record. It is his third start against Chicago. He is 2-0 to date, winning 5-4 on opening day against Johnny Bazard and 7-1 over Gary Peters last weekend in Chicago. Lifetime, he is 4-4 against the White Sox. For the White Sox, Joe Horland, who has won 14 and lost 6, will be making his third start against Boston this year. He is 1-1 to date, winning 5-2 back on June the 8th, and then losing 6-2 to Jerry Stevenson last Saturday. Lifetime, Joe is 7-6 against the Red Sox. This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Chicago White Sox solely for the entertainment of our listening audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this play-by-play description and the account of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago White Sox is prohibited. Well, it's a chilly afternoon here in Boston, and in the friendly confines of Fenway Park, and believe me, it's confining from the standpoint of the hitters because that left field wall looks like it's so easy to reach to, and a lot of them will be overswinging as they have in years past. We'll give you the starting lineup in a moment, but right now we'd like to salute radio station WCJU of Columbia, Mississippi. WCJU, one of the fine stations on the Chicago White Sox network line, WCJU. And now here's the starting lineup for Eddie Stanky's 9. Eddie is down to the left at the present time with Dick Williams, and the action will be getting underway momentarily. Leading off and playing left field will be Walt Williams, and we'll have the opportunity and time to give you the batting average of each player as we give you the starting lineup. Walt Williams leading off playing left field with a .242 batting average. Batting second and playing second will be Don Buford with a .250 batting average. In center field will be Tommy Agee. Tommy currently batting .236. It will be Pistol Pete Ward, the cleanup batter, and playing third with a .245 batting average, 16 homers and 52 runs batted in, which is tops on the club. Batting in the number 5 spot and playing right field will be Rocky Colavito. He is currently batting .237. Tommy McCraw will be batting in the number 6 spot and playing first base, batting .227. J.C. Martin will do the catching here this afternoon with a .258 batting average. At shortstop, Ron Hansen batting .221. And on the mound with a record of 14 wins and 6 losses will be Joe Horland. Lifetime, he is 7-6 against the Red Sox. And now the starting lineup for Dick Williams' 9 will be Mike Andrews leading off and playing second base with a .251 batting average. It will be Jerry Adair batting second and playing third base. He is batting .267. The number 3 man in the batting order will be left fielder Carl Yastrzemski, batting .311 with 35 homers and 95 runs batted in. Boy, is he doing some kind of playing, as he always has. The cleanup batter for the Boston Red Sox, who lead the American League by a half game in front of Minnesota, 2 in front of Detroit, 2.5 in front of our White Sox. It will be George Scott, batting .302 with 17 homers, 68 runs batted in. The number 5 man in the batting order, the center fielder, Reggie Smith, batting .261. In right field, and a man that has taken the hearts of the Bostonians, Kenny Harrelson with a .271 batting average. And the Hawk had quite a night last night with a double, a triple, and a home run. So he had a field day. Hawk last night drove in 4 runs, 2 with a triple, 1 with his homer, and 1 with a double. He has 11 homers and 46 runs batted in. He will be in right field. The number 7 man in the batting order, Rico Petroselli at shortstop, batting .267. Doing the catching, Elston Howard. And on the mound, Jim Lonborg with 18 victories and 6 losses. The umpiring crew has made their way out of the Red Sox dugout and out to home plate where Dick Williams and Eddie Stanky will exchange their lineup cards. And we want to welcome aboard all the people of the Armed Forces, as this broadcast is being heard on the Armed Forces Network. And welcome aboard men and women of the Armed Forces of the United States. Wherever you're listening to our broadcast, this is Red Rush along with Bob Elson, hoping that you will enjoy our bird's eye view of the ball game from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. The surprising, the scintillating, the darlings of the American League, that's what they're calling the Boston Red Sox. It's an amazing story, but as Frank Lane said on the pregame show here this afternoon, that finally they are a cohesive unit. Finally they have gelled. The young talent that has been brought along, and believe me, Tom Yawkey deserves a lot of credit because he spent a lot of money here in Boston trying to bring the fans of this fair city a good ball club, and now they have a great ball club and a fine manager, Dick Williams, that has brought them along through their system, knowing the players and bringing them to the fruition of their labors. And believe me, this has been an outstanding job. And the press here in Boston has had to turn around because they have been known by many as being rippers, and that's putting it mildly. And this year they have had, after the first part of the season, because they continued during the first part, to turn around and say, well, where are we going to go? Instead of negative reporting by any stretch of the imagination, they have gone on a more constructive basis and have started giving the credit to the Boston players and the skipper, Dick Williams. Eddie Stanky conversing with Ed Runge, the third base umpire, as the Red Sox take the diamond. And now let's set the defense for you. For the Boston Red Sox at first base, George Scott; at second, Mike Andrews; the shortstop, Rico Petrocelli; at third, Jerry Adair; in left field, Carl Yastrzemski; center field, Reggie Smith; right field, Kenny Harrelson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. And now doing the catching, Elston Howard, is the big right-hander Jim Lonborg, who stands 6'5" and weighs 200 pounds, is out on the mound. Lonborg, a freewheeling right-hander, a good-looking pitcher. As a matter of fact, many say the outstanding pitcher in the American League today. Lonborg, 6'5", 200-pounder, born in Santa Maria, California 24 years ago, makes his home now in San Luis Obispo. It'll be Walter Williams, Don Buford, and fleet-footed Tommy Agee in that order to lead off for the Chicago White Sox. Kirby Farrell goes down to the first base coach's box, and Grover Riesinger makes his way out of the dugout to the third base coach's box. Bill Howler will call the balls and strikes, Jim Odom at first, Hank Thor, the umpire, at second, and Ed Runge will make the decisions down at third. And now, ready for the action, as ready to step in is Walt Williams, and here with a play-by-play story for the Armed Forces Radio Network and also for the Chicago White Sox Network, the Commander, Bob Elson.
Thank you, Red. We have another perfect setting here for a great game and an important ball game. Lonborg has pitched 12 complete games. Hornan has pitched 8 complete games. The Sox want this game badly here today, and they need it. So here we go, and we're happy indeed that the broadcast that Red and I are going to call the plays here in Boston today will be heard by the men and women of our armed forces all the way around the world. So at Boston, it is a chilly day, it's a windy day, and the wind could have an effect here on certain types of balls. Here is a called strike, and with that pitch, there was a terrific blow around home plate that blew the dust and dirt all over the place. Walter Williams in the batter's box. Lonborg is set again. Strike call. Change-up curveball. Lonborg has won 18 and lost 6. Lifetime against the Sox, he's 4-4. And a swing and a miss, and he threw the bat away. Some people say, the superstitious, and I am not superstitious, that indicates that the pitcher is going to lose the ball game. This time, let's hope the superstitious people are right. So that is the first out. Strikeout. Well, these are two great teams. Tom Yawkey, the fine owner of the Boston Red Sox, was visiting in the press room with a lot of the announcers and writers. He has seen some lean days here in Boston, that is, as far as this ball club is concerned, and always took it in stride. The pitch is a very high fastball, and Buford fell away from the plate. He comes in batting .250. Lonborg has 195 strikeouts going in, and he picked up one here today. He has pitched 12 complete games. Harlan has pitched 8 complete games. Ball one for Buford, a switch hitter batting left-handed, and a ball that's low and inside, and it is ball 2. Smith in center field, Harrelson in right field, Yastrzemski in left field. Scott at first, Andrews at second, Petroselli at short, Adair at third. Here is a foul going back to the right and over the roof. The park is jammed except for a few rows up in the top of the bleacher in right field. Well, how about that Giants-Cincinnati game last night? Cincinnati pitcher walked in the winning run. Here is a strike. 20-inning ball game. And it's a ball 2 and a strike 2 count, and now the umpire wants to look at the ball. He's putting in a new one. Lonborg was our guest on the Leadoff Man show before the first game of this series. Our guest today was Frank Lane. We were happy to give him a wonderful Zenith radio. And remember, with Zenith Radio, TV, and hi-fi, quality goes in before the name Zenith goes on. The pitch, swing, and a pop-up. Let's see if there's a play. Howard over and takes that ball near the Sox dugout. Every once in a while, there's just a light spray of rain, but it doesn't mean a thing because the sky is bright and blue and beautiful, and the rain is of no concern here this afternoon. As a former weatherman, you have my assurance of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, a cloudburst just came upon us.
2 out and nobody on as Tommy Agee steps in, batting .236. Tommy has been hitting very well. He's had 6 hits in the last 3 games. Time is called while Elston Howard was fixing one of his shin guards. Cubs are ahead of the Mets 1-0. Kansas City leading Baltimore 6-3 in their game. Here is a strike, gets right in across the knee. This game today is being televised by NBC nationally. And again, the pitch to him, it's a ball. It's low and inside. Well, Tommy hit a long home run in the first game that tied the score. A long, high shot over the left field wall and screen. Here's a bunt, foul along the third base line, and it's a ball 1 and a strike 2 count. Sox will be home Wednesday night to play California. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, a doubleheader with Detroit. Cleveland the early part of next week, and a big weekend series with the Minnesota Twins, who are a half a game out of the American League lead. The Detroit Tigers are 2 out. The White Sox are 2.5 out. You got to win this ball game here today. Agee takes off the inside corner. Ball 2, strike 2. Ball 2 and a strike 2 count. He's set again and the pitch. It's low, a ball. Ball 3. Lonborg is a very good, in fact, he's an exceptionally good control pitcher. A ball 3 and a strike 2 count. Here's the big one. Swing and a foul out of play. We have run into a very odd weekend weather-wise in Boston. For those of you listening in the different parts of the world, unusual to come into Boston at this time and find it cold and rainy and windy. But that's the kind of weather we have had here, and the American flag off here to my left is just about to go off the pole. Here is a ball he walked in. So Tommy Agee is the first base runner in the ball game. That is the 65th base on balls given up by Lonborg this year. Here is Ward. He won the first game with a long home run. Ward the batter. And a peg over to first base. That was very close. The on-deck man is Rocky Colavito. Peg over, and he dives in, gets that right hand on the bag. Jim Lonborg. The pitch. Ward takes low. Howard throws to first. He's back. Lonborg, with 18 wins against 6 losses, has an earned run average on the road of about 2, but here in Boston of a 5.46. That's quite a difference. Agee has 25 stolen bases. He throws to first again. It is not close. The center fielder Smith and the right fielder Harrelson are deep. The pitch to Ward, a ground ball, a hit to right field. Agee is around second, going to third, and Harrelson throws the ball to Andrews, who runs into the infield, carrying the ball. And now the Sox have runners on first and third, and here is an overdue Rocky Colavito. So in this first inning, we've had the first hit and we've had the first walk of this ball game. Now here is Rocky Colavito. Kansas City 6 and Baltimore 3. They've gone to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Tigers are out in the first inning at Minnesota. Swing and a miss. 1 strike. Cubs 1 and the New York Mets nothing at the end of 3. Well, the Dodgers hung on last night to beat Atlanta 6-4. Come on, Rocky. The pitch. Swing and a miss, and it is strike 2. Colavito taking a kind of swing, a half-hearted swing, as though he wasn't sure whether it was a ball or a strike and was going to try to check it. Turned around again to complain to the umpire, so he is very much in the hole here now with 2 strikes on him. And the pitch, ball, it's up high. And a ball 1 and a strike 2 count. Runners first and third, 2 out, first inning at Boston. Now a bright sun shining. Runners at first and at third. Lonborg is set again. Here is a pop fly into shallow center field. Coming on, it's going to drop. Run scores. Here's The center fielder overran the ball, and Colavito goes all the way to second. There may be an error. 1 run in. Now they scored as a double, as the center fielder, Reggie Smith, coming on, overran the ball. It was behind him. Let's get a station break in here now. We'll pause now, 10 seconds for station identification.
This is your station for the good Labor Day holiday weekend listening. WMAQ NBC in Chicago.
Well, the White Sox on Colavito's pop fly to center field. Tommy Agee scored. Ward went to third. Colavito to second when Reggie Smith, coming in, overran the ball a foot or two. The pitch. Here is a drive, but it's going to curve and go foul down the left field line. Come on, just a base hit, we'd have a 3-run lead here. You give Harlan a three-run lead, and you're in pretty good shape. 1 run in this ballpark doesn't mean a thing. Runners at second and third. Now, the pitcher takes a little bit of extra time, and the batter steps out. Ward at third, Colavito at second. Here's the pitch, and a ground hit to right. 1 run in. Here comes Colavito. No play at the plate. Sox lead 3-0. Ward scored. Colavito scored. And the White Sox are leading 3-0 in the ball game. That is the 32nd and 33rd RBI for Tommy McCraw, and here comes J.C. Martin. Here is Martin stepping in. And a line drive, but right at the first baseman, Scott. He hit that ball like it was out of a cannon, but right at Scott. That would have been a sure double down the right field line, but Scott was standing right in line in the track of the ball. Well, it was a good inning anyway. Now we've got a little bit here so that Harlan has a little working margin. 3 runs on 1, 2, 3. 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 left. Middle of the first inning at Fenway in Boston. The White Sox 3. Boston now coming to bat.
Say, who says baseball's a man's game? You know, gals just love it. Who yells the loudest? Big Frank, the construction foreman? No, sirree, his little 5-foot wife. Every once in a while, a gal just has to cut loose, escape that daily grind, and get away from her housework or her job. You know, there's no better way to get away from it all than to head out to White Sox Park. That's the one place where a gal doesn't have to stand on formality. She can relax, take off her shoes, munch on a hot dog, just be herself. And it's easy to get to White Sox Park. You get on the Dan Ryan, stay in the local lanes, and you get off at the 35th Street exit. No, don't worry about parking space either. There's room for over 8,000 cars. If you don't want to drive, well, it's easy. Take the CTA, drops you off right at the gate. So come on out, gals, for the time of your life out to White Sox Park. We'll be home on Wednesday, starting a big 10-day homestand. See you at Sox Park.
Let me place the White Sox for you on the field. Walter Williams playing left field, Agee in center field, and Colavito in right field. Ward at third, Hanson at short, Buford at second, McCraw at first, Martin the catcher, and Harlan the pitcher. At Minnesota, it's Minnesota nothing, Detroit nothing at the end of 1. Now the leadoff batter will be second baseman Andrews. He will be followed by third baseman Adair, who will be followed by the left fielder Scott. We want to salute another one of the fine stations on our vast network of stations. WCJU in Columbia, Mississippi. They have a lot of listeners. They have a fine, well-balanced programming there. Lean a little bit to sports and great news coverage. WCJU in Columbia, Mississippi. Well, here is the leadoff man now, Andrews, and we have a 3-run lead, and we can breathe easy here for a while. So Joel Harlan, good right-hander, has won 14 and lost 6. 2-1 this year against the Boston club. And here is the first pitch. It's a strike, gets right in across the knee. A swing and a foul going off here to the right. Number 2 in the back of his white uniform, this is Andrews. The regular second baseman had a fine year for this ball club. Last year was with Toronto. And a liner, foul down the left field line. Boy. That was a line drive, and now Ward is coming over from third to talk with Joe Harlan. We have a day game here tomorrow. At 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock Chicago time. 1 o'clock Chicago time, and the leadoff man show with Dominic DiMaggio, brother of the famed Joe DiMaggio. He'll be on at 12:40. Here's a smash foul again down the third base line. Dominic DiMaggio was a great ball player with the Boston club for years, while his brother achieved even greater fame with the New York Yankees. And in my book, the players and games that I have seen, was the greatest individual ball player I think I ever saw. Oh, he was really something. Two-strike count on Andrews. And a ball a little bit too low. They had a brother who played in the National League, Vince DiMaggio. So we will find out all about the famed DiMaggios from Dominic DiMaggio on our leadoff man show tomorrow. Here's a ball that's low and a ball 2 and a strike 2 count. Segui is pitching for Kansas City in the 5th. Kansas City leads 6-3, but Baltimore evidently has something going again. Harlan's ready, and a high pop-up, an easy out. Here's McCraw coming down the line in foul territory, and he has it for the out. One gone. That'll bring up the third baseman, Adair. The Sox lead 3-0 in a big ball game at Boston. Here is the pitch, and it's a strike. Gets right in across the knee. The batter is Adair. He's set again on the pitch. Swing and a chopper down to third. Ward fumbles, recovers, throws, close. He's safe. An error for Ward. That was a ball that all Pete had to do was pick it up. It was hit right at him. He fumbled it, picked it up, fumbled it again, and it was too late. So that is a boot. And it brings up the dangerous Carl Yastrzemski, one of baseball's outstanding ball players, perhaps the most valuable player in the American League. Here's a fellow who could make any one of the 19 ball clubs in the major league. There's a ball way up over his head, ball 1. The infield has shifted around a little bit to the right, with Hansen playing a shade toward the bag at second. Agee is very deep, and Colavito is very deep and right. And Walter Williams is shoved over toward center field. And a ball that's low. Come on, don't walk him. He's got to hit it, let him hit it. But walks lose more ball games than hits. Carl Yastrzemski. With a teammate on first base. And a strike. He hit that outside corner across the knee. The Detroit Tigers are out in the second inning. In that game, it's McLean and Boswell. At the end of 4 innings, the Cubs maintain a 1-run lead over the New York Mets. Here it's a ball 2 and a strike 1 count, and the pitch. Low and slow. It's ball 3. Well, I can remember some of the great powerhouse teams like the great Yankee teams when they had real power in that ball club. You just couldn't afford to walk anybody. And in this ballpark, not so much on the road, but when you play Boston here, you can't afford to walk anybody because they can tattoo that wall. The pitch, he walked him, 2 men on and 1 out. Here's a very dangerous George Scott. The kind of hitter I was referring to. Big, husky right-handed batter with a lot of pulling power to left field. And that big light green wall out there presents quite an attractive target. It's enough to make everybody switch from batting left-handed to batting right-handed. So the Sox are in a little bit of trouble here now. An error and a walk. And Scott foul tipped the ball. As he backed away, the ball hit the bat handle. 1 strike. We could surely use a double play right here. The outfield is straight away. Harlan is set again. The pitch to Scott, a swing on a changeup curve and a miss, strike 2. Scott started to swing when that ball left the pitcher's hand. And it just floated up there. And it is a 2-strike count now on George Scott. Runners at first and second. And a high fastball in tight. And it's a ball 1 and a strike 2 count. Well, we're happy to have our regular engineer here in Boston, Dan McCabe, back with us today at the controls. Runners at first and second. A 1-2 count on Scott. The pitch, swing, and a ground ball to Hansen. Looks like a double play. Steps on the bag, fires, and we have that double play, and we're out of the jam. So that is the first double play of the game for the Sox, and number 115, and their third double play of the series. Hansen unassisted to McCraw. No runs, no hits, a walk, 1 error, and 1 manlet. And so at the end of 1 at Fenway, the White Sox 3, Boston nothing.
You know, these days it seems that all teenagers want is a soft drink and a candy bar. But it's encouraging to learn that according to a recent survey, 31% of the boys and 28% of the gals in the 13 to 19 age bracket wish the chicken were served more often. It's good news because chicken packs nutrition punch. White meat of chicken is higher in protein and lower in calories than other leading meats. And according to the National Broiler Council, chicken contains all the essential amino acids. Here's a summer chicken idea that's sure to make a hit with the teenagers. Have a chicknick. A supply of cold, fried chicken in that picnic hamper makes a feast of the outdoor meal. Yes, chicken. It's delicious and it's delectable. And it's so nourishing, too. This message from the National Broiler Council was sponsored by Van Tress Farms, a subsidiary of Artnell. That's Van Tress Farms.
Our game at Boston is moving into the second inning. The White Sox 3 and Boston nothing, and Hanson the batter. Here's a flash. Detroit nothing, Minnesota nothing at the end of 2 at Bloomington. He's set again, and the pitch. It's a ball up very high and very close, and it is ball 2 for Hanson. Hanson comes in at 2:21. The Sox scored their 3 runs in the first inning after 2 were out and nobody on. The pitch, a ball in the dirt, ball 3. Well, Frank Lane on the leadoff man show made quite an interesting guest today. Frank is never reticent about talking. Here is a ball. He walked the leadoff man. Come on, let's get some more. That's going to bring up Harlan. Here is Harlan stepping into the batter's box with a teammate on first base, nobody out in the second. Tomorrow's pitchers will be Tommy John and Lee Stang. Harlan bunts down the first base line, and he touched the first baseman touched the ball, but he's out at first anyway. The ball jumped right by Scott, who touched the ball, deflected it into foul territory, but the second baseman was coming over, picked the ball up and jumped back onto the bag, and Harlan was out on an eyelash play. It's a sacrifice, and that odd play goes 3-4. The first baseman touched it in fair territory. Then it went foul off his glove, but it was already established as a fair ball. So here is Walter Williams now with a teammate at second base and 1 out. Walter bunts down the third base line. He's got a good chance. He is at first base by a country mile. Little Walter dumped one, and he was at first base. Well, the third baseman didn't even bother throwing the ball. So now we have Don Buford. Don has been meeting that ball well. He was down around 212. He's now pushing up toward 260. Runners at first and third. And a strike. He hit the outside corner across the knee. White Sox have 3 runs on 4 hits. Boston no runs and no hits. Jim Lonborg, big right-hander. A ball that's low and away. So Hanson went to third. And Walter Williams dumped a perfect bunt and didn't even draw a throw. So now the White Sox have a chance to sweeten their lead. Peg over to first base. Walter's back. Time is called now. The umpire wants to see the ball again. So the plate umpire, Salerno, takes a look at that ball. Here comes the pitch now to Buford, and it's way outside, another ball. 2-1. Ball 2 and a strike 1 count. Chicago, the Cubs 1, the Mets nothing at the end of 4. Detroit nothing, Minnesota nothing at the end of 2. The pitch to Buford, foul here on the wire, right below us, 2-2. The Detroit Tigers are out in the third inning. Minnesota batting. That's McLean and Boswell, two right-handers. A ball 2 and a strike 2 count for Buford. Here is a swing and a miss. A big curveball coming in on him, and he struck him out. That is number 2. It'll bring up Tommy Agee, who walked the first time. Here's Agee in the batter's box. The wind again whips the dirt all around. White Sox runners at first and third with 2 out in the second inning. And the Sox lead Boston 3-0. Pitch to Agee. Gets away from the catcher, and Williams goes to second base. It's a wild pitch. So Tommy now could pick up 2 RBIs if he could get a hit. Runners at second and third. Tommy Agee in the batter's box. Jim Loudborg going for number 19. And the pitch to Tommy Agee is a ball, sending the catcher, Elston Howard, to his knees to block that ball to keep it from getting away. Hanson at third, Williams at second. 2 are out. Cleveland and California will play a night game. California beat Cleveland last night. Here's the pitch to Tommy, and the ball hit the bat, and it's a foul tip strike. And a ball 2 and a strike 1 count. Here is Eddie Stanky coming out now. Eddie Stanky is coming out to talk with Tommy Agee. Tommy said that the ball hit him in the arm, the elbow. The umpire says it hit the bat, and that's what the discussion is about. In night baseball, it'll be Philadelphia at Pittsburgh, Houston at St. Louis, where the Cardinals got a great game last night from Bryles. Baltimore just scored 2 in the 5th. Kansas City leads 6-5. Eddie Fisher has gone in to pitch for Baltimore in the 5th inning. Here we are still in the 2nd inning with runners at second and at third. Swing and a foul tip. And a ball 2 and a strike 2 count. Again, the umpire wants to look at the ball and puts in a new one. Well, in the Washington Yankee game last night, in extra innings, young Hegan, whose father was a great catcher for Cleveland, hit his first major league home run, and it won the game, 2-1. The pitch to Tommy almost hit him, ball 3. It's a ball 3 and a strike 2 count. He's set again, and a swing and a miss. Struck him out on a high fastball.
Batting third and playing right field Rusty Torrey. Batting cleanup and playing left field, Roy White. Batting fifth and playing first base, John Ellis. Batting sixth and catching, Thurman Munson. Batting seventh and playing third base, Ron Hansen. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, Frank Baker. And batting ninth and pitching will be left-hander Mike Kekich. For the Senators, leading off and playing center field will be Elliot Maddox. Batting second and playing shortstop, Toby Harrah. Batting third and playing first base, Frank Howard. Batting cleanup and catching, Rich Billings. Batting fifth and playing left field, Jeff Burrows. Batting sixth and playing third base, Dave Nelson. Batting seventh and playing right field, Del Unser. Batting eighth and playing second base, Tom Ragland. And batting ninth and pitching will be the Senators' ace right-hander, Dick Bosman. Boz is looking for his 13th victory tonight against 16 defeats. And Mike Kekich, the left-hander, brings a 10-9 record into this evening's contest. The umpires for tonight's game. Jim Odom will be calling the balls and strikes. Jake O'Donnell will be umpiring at first. Jim Honachek at second. And Lou DeMuro will be down at third. Manager Ted Williams is taking the Senators lineup out to home plate to meet with the four umpires and Yankee manager Ralph Houk. He is surrounded by a bevy of photographers as they record this historic scene at RFK Stadium. We'll be back with the start of tonight's final game in 1 minute.
Fleischer's Jewelers of Maryland proudly announces Patek Philippe, the royalty of watches. Throughout the United States and the world, there are only a precious handful of jewelers who are privileged to carry the Patek Philippe watch. Fleischer's of Maryland is honored to join the select group, and one look at Patek Philippe will tell you why. In all the world, only one watch in about 10,000 qualifies for the Seal of Geneva, which signifies the highest order of watches made in Switzerland. Patek Philippe is the only watchmaker whose entire production meets the requirements set forth by the Seal of Geneva. You'll find the seal engraved on every Patek Philippe. Patek Philippe, the royalty of watches. Now awaiting your discriminating inspection at Fleischer's Jewelers of Maryland in the Queenstown Shopping Center, Queens Chapel Road in Hyattsville. Open daily till 6:30, Thursdays and Fridays till 9.
Before this ball game gets underway, let's pause for station identification. This is the Washington Senators Baseball Network.
WWDC, AM and FM, Washington. Where'd you get it? At Jack Amatucci Chevy City, where the action is on everything from Vegas to vets. Jack Amatucci Chevrolet, Veers Mill Road and Georgia Avenue in Wheaton.
Right-hander Dick Bosman coming in from the bullpen where he was warming up brings a 12-16 record into tonight's game. This is his 35th start of the year. He has 7 completions, an earned run average of 3.61 in 231 and 2/3 innings. He's allowed 237 hits, walked 69, struck out 110, served up 26 home run pitches, allowed 105 runs, 93 of which were earned, and as we mentioned, his ERA is 3.61. So Boz will try and wind up the Major League Baseball season, at least for 1971, hopefully not forever, but be that as it may, Bosman gets the assignment tonight. He is backed up defensively by Frank Howard at first, Tom Ragland at second, Toby Harrah at short, Dave Nelson at third. Jeff Burrows is in left field, Elliot Maddox in center, and Del Unser is in right. Rich Billings is doing the catching. Now Bobby Mercer, who still has an outside chance at winning the American League batting title, is in the leadoff spot for New York tonight. And that is simply to give Bobby as many at-bats as possible in the final game of the 1971 season. The crowd is still coming in. As we mentioned, there are probably between 10 and 15,000 people here tonight bidding their farewell to Major League Baseball in Washington. As Mercer stands in, it's our pleasure to call in our broadcasting partner, Tony Roberts. Tony?
Thank you, Ron, and good evening, everybody. Bobby Mercer, left-handed hitter, takes the first pitch low, a ball, 1-0. Jim Odom is the plate umpire, and oddly enough, Jim spent a good deal of his early umpiring career in the Texas League, 6 years. The 1-0 pitch by Boz, low and inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Dave Nelson, just off the grass at third. Tony Oliva leads the American League hitters, 331. It'll take a hot night for Bobby Mercer to win it all. He's batting 3-3-1. Oliva 3-3-7, Mercer 331. A ground foul first base side. 2 balls and 1 strike to Bobby Mercer. Merv Rettenman of Baltimore having a good year, 318. He's in the number 3 spot in the American League. And he's one of the features of the latest issue of Sports Illustrated. 2 balls and a strike. The young man who plays center field and can do it all. Run, hit, throw. Swing and a fly ball. Hit deep to center. Maddox going back. Near the warning track. He's there. He's got it. 1 away. Mercer gave it a good ride toward left center field, but Maddox had room, and it's 1 down. That'll bring up the switch-hitting second baseman, Horace Clark. Composite average is 251, 22 doubles, 7 triples, 2 home runs, and 41 RBIs. As a left-handed batter, Clark is hitting 276 on the right side. He bats 218. Widespread stance, slightly open. Takes the fastball too low, and it's ball 1. In the National League, make that the American League, Chicago shaded Milwaukee 2-1. California beat Minnesota 3-2. Ball 1 pitch. Back to the mound. Off Boz's glove. Picked up by Ragland. Throw to first, 2 away. It appeared that the ball caromed off Bosman's glove to Tom Ragland, who picked it up, threw to Frank Howard. That'll bring up Rusty Torres. He's appearing in his 9th game. He's hitting .364 as a switch hitter. 3 doubles, 1 home run, and 2 RBIs. The pitch on the way. Breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike 1. Well, you'll recall Dick Bosman pitched the presidential opener, and the Senators bested the Oakland A's in Vida Blue 8-0. Last game of the season, and Bos is back on the hill. The 0-1, hit deep to right, way into the corner. Going, it is gone, and it is a fair ball. A home run for Rusty Torres. His 2nd home run of the year. His 3rd RBI. Torres coming around 3rd will step on home plate, and the Yankees have a 1-0 lead. That's the 27th home run ball served up by Bosman this year. The Yankees a run and a hit. Roy White, the Yankee left fielder. Straightaway stance, hitting from the left side. Bosman throws. Tries to butt, misses, a strike. Nelson back at 3rd after sitting out a couple of ball games with an injured wrist. Toby Harrell returns to shortstop. The pitch on the way. It's outside, and it's even at 1-1. 2 out. Nobody on, but the Yankees get a run on Torres' home run down the right field line. Bos delivers off the inside corner at the knees, and it's 2 balls and a strike. The San Francisco Giants win or the Los Angeles Dodgers lose tonight. It's all over in the National League West. The pitch. Cut on, sliced to left field, down the line, it falls in. Burroughs tracking the ball down. White going for 2. Here comes the throw, and it's a stand-up double for Roy White. A slice over 3rd baseman Dave Nelson's head. Down the left field line, and Roy White has come up with a 2-base hit, his 22nd double of the year. That here's Johnny Ellis, the first baseman, a right-handed hitter. .239 average, 12 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, and 32 runs batted in. Bos at the belt, throws the breaking ball too low, and it's ball 1. Bosman got Mercer on a deep fly to center. Clark and a bouncer to Raglan at 2nd. And then Torres homered over the right field fence in the corner. White sliced to double to left. Swinging a ground foul behind the plate. A ball and a strike to Johnny Ellis. Yankees have a run on 2 hits. Senators have won 11 and lost 7 in the series. They're 5-3 here at RFK. They wound up 6-3 at Yankee Stadium. Dick Bosman ready. And throws. Low. And outside. 2 balls and a strike to John Ellis. 6'2", 220 pounds. Senator outfield plays Ellis straight away. Bosman sets. White has his lead. Breaking ball popped up behind the plate. Billings may have a chance at it. It is just in about the 2nd row. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. Roy White at 2nd base. Plate umpire is Jim Odom. Bosman ready. Set to deliver the 2-2. Breaking ball. 1 hopper over to 3rd baseman Dave Nelson's head into the left field for a base hit. White comes on to score easily as Burroughs throws the ball into Toby Harrah. And the Yankees now lead at 2-0. So Ellis with a 1-hop single. over Dave Nelson's head at third. Sends White home with run number 2. Hit number 3, all after 2 out. And the Yankees now have 2 runs, 3 hits. And Thurman Munson, the Rookie of the Year catcher in the American League last year, standing in. A .248 hitter, 14 doubles, 4 triples, 10 home runs, and 42 runs batted in. Fastball is low and outside, and it's ball 1. Rich Billings behind the plate. Nelson at third, Harrod short, Rags at second. Frank Howard holding the runner close at first. Third baseman Ron Hansen in the on-deck circle off to the left. The 1-0. Curveball cut on and foul back. And the plate umpire, Odom, makes a one-hand stab. Since this is the Senators' finale at RFK Stadium, the crowd here very responsive tonight. A ball and a strike to Munson. Slightly open stance. Bosman throws. Check swing ground ball right side. And that makes it 1-2. Bosman grabs the rosin bag. A ball and 2 strikes to Thurman Munson. 5'11", 195. Now Munson steps back and grabs some dirt. Dick Hauser coaching at third for the Yankees. Elston Howard at first. Breaking ball cut on, looped onto right field line. Howard giving chase, and Hondo can't get it. Takes one bounce on the dirt track and into the stands. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs. A pair of runs home. And Thurman Munson is the batter. Maddox straight away in center. Bar's ready. Checks the runner and throws. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that retires a side. But the Yankees get a pair of runs on 3 hits. No errors. They leave a man on. And after a half inning, the Yankees 2, the Senators coming to bat.
Scott Burton ranks as one of the world's great romantics. Let's listen as he turns on the old charm.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I suppose I should wait until I'm supposed to come in right. Okay. Yeah, let me... It's not ready yet, okay. Melvin Hernandez, my producer, told me not to... Here it is. This is a poem for husbands to read to wives. It goes like this. Ever since that first marriage year, I've learned you're not quite perfect, dear. I've learned to tolerate your quirks or just ignore them, and it works. It's getting so I now don't mind when coffee tastes like grapefruit rind, or when a $7 roast turns out as black as all your toast. But there's one thing I just cannot bear. Dear, please don't put starch in my underwear.
The Sound of Scott, 2 to 5:30 on WWDC.
The center half of the first will find Elliot Maddox, the center fielder, leading off, be followed by shortstop Toby Harrah, and then first baseman Frank Howard. Left-hander Mike Kekich has been staked to a 2-0 lead, all coming after 2 outs. You know, while we have a moment, there are so many people we'd like to thank, and we could spend the entire ball game doing so. We certainly want to thank all the stations along our network for carrying the ball games. We did hear from some of them today, wishing Ron and I well in the future, and we certainly hope that someday we can all come back, come up with another network and a brand new Washington Senator baseball team. Elliot Maddox, a .217 hitter, 7 doubles, a couple of triples, a homer, and 16 runs batted in. That one home run by Elliot Maddox is off the fella on the mound, Mike Kekich. Toby Hare in the on-deck circle. Left-hander Mike Kekich. 10 victories, 9 defeats. He's lost twice to the Senators this year, 3-1 and 8-0. Lifetime, he's 1-2. The pitch on the way. Inside under the chin, and it's ball 1. And the fans begin the staccato clapping. A very responsive crowd because of the occasion tonight. The 1-0. Hit down the right field side. Foul. Nelson Fox at first base. Wayne Terwilliger coaching at third. A ball and a strike. Kekich throws. A grounder to short, taken on the second half. Long throw by Baker, a little bit high, and they put the tag on Maddox as he goes by. A sweet tag play by John Ellis. The throw by Baker was high, and to the home plate side of first base. Ellis left the bag, leaped in the air, stabbed the ball, and with a swipe tag got Maddox just before he touched the bag. One away. There is shortstop Toby Hare. Batting .230, 11 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs, and 22 runs batted in. Yankees 2, Senators nothing. Bottom of the first, 1 out, nobody on. And the pitch. High and outside the ball, 1-0. Toby has hit well this series against the Yankees. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball, cut on. Past Hanson at third. Baker to the hole. Long throw. Not in time. He beat it out of base hit. A bounder past third baseman Ron Hanson. Baker going to his right in the hole. Could not get enough on the throw, and Toby Hare has an infield hit. And that'll bring up Frank Howard, and the big guy who doesn't want to leave Washington is getting a standing ovation as he's about to step in at home plate. And now, plate umpire Jim Odom calls time. And I guarantee you, Hondo would like to put one out of the ballpark. The pitch is inside the ball. 1-0. Howard hitting .278, 25 doubles, 2 triples, 25 homers, 82 runs batted in. Talked to Frank before the ball game. He says he'll not retire. He will play in 1972. Pitch is high, and it's ball 2. Horace Clark way over towards second, but there is no Howard shift per se. Ellis on the bag at first, holding Toby Hare close. Toby has 10 stolen bases in 19 attempts. Kekich sets. Throw over to first base. A leisurely throw to Johnny Ellis. 2 balls and no strikes. Mike Kekich, a left-hander, throws. Check swing high and inside at the letters. 3-0, and Frank Howard steps out and looks at third base coach Wayne Terwilliger. Yankees 2, Senators nothing. Bottom of the first. Hare leads at first. Kekich sets and throws. Inside, ball 4. A walk to Frank Howard. The tying runs are on, and that'll bring up catcher Rich Billings. Toby Hare at second. Frank Howard at first. 1 out. Rich Billings batting .241, 14 doubles, no triples, 6 homers, and 48 RBIs. Runners lead. Kekich delivers. A bouncing ball to Hanson at third. To Clark for one. Relay. They've got 2, a double play. And that retires a side. Around the horn, 5, 4, 3 for the Senators in the first. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. And after 1, the Yankees 2, the Senators nothing.
Whenever you go to a lending company, you want not only personal attention, but service that's efficient and fast. Well, now you can really have it at Household Finance. HFC has just installed the largest commercial online computerized communications network in the world. It's called Orbit, and it's there to give you money service as complete and accurate and fast as computers can provide. With Orbit, we haven't lost our personal touch. Our people are still there to provide understanding and courteous attention. We just made it possible to give you even better service. Next time you need to borrow, visit Household Finance and discover the difference.
At Household Finance, you can borrow up to $1,500. HFC has 28 conveniently located offices around the Washington, D.C. area. See your phone book for addresses. In the second, the bottom of the order for the Yankees, third baseman Ron Hansen, shortstop Frank Baker, and then pitcher Mike Kekich to face Dick Bosman. Ron Hansen, who's played with the Baltimore Orioles, Chicago White Sox, Washington Senators, New York Yankees, stands in. Batting .213, 3 doubles, 2 homers, and 20 runs batted in. And the pitch, swinging a foul back to the screen. That is 1 strike. He'll be followed by light hitting but slick fielding Frank Baker. Bob's ready. The pitch on the way. Low and outside, right past Rich Billings, and back to the screen. It's even up. A ball and a strike. The 1-1 by Bosman. Inside at the letters, a breaking ball. It's 2-1. In the National League West, the Giants have at least a tie. A victory by San Francisco or a loss by Los Angeles, and the Giants are the division champions. A curveball cut on and fouled, one-handed by the batter in the on-deck circle, Frank Baker. The count is 2-2 to Ron Hansen. Boz looks into Rich Billings. And the 2-2's on the way. Just missing on the outside corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ron Hansen. Ron hit .297 with the Yankees last year. Swings and misses. Strike 3, and that's strikeout number 2 for Dick Bosman, and his second in succession. Here's shortstop Frank Baker. Stands in hitting only .143, couple of doubles, and 2 RBIs. He bats from the left side, open stance. Deep in the box. Outfield straight away and not too deep. Boz throws, swings, and fouls that ball back into the box seats. 1 strike. Frank is from Meridian, Mississippi. Played in 35 games with the Yankees last year. Spent most of his time at Syracuse. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball is low and inside, 1-1. And as Baker bluffs the bunt, Dave Nelson charges in from third. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Nobody on. Yankees 2, Senators nothing. We're in the second. Let up breaking pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Frank Baker, the Yankee shortstop. Well, a good crowd on hand tonight for the finale. The 1-2 pitch is inside at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bosman is not a very fast worker. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, too low. 3-2. Senator right-hander has great attachment to Washington. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Baker. Bosman throws. Inside and low, ball 4. So there's the first base on balls given up by Dick Bosman. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, Mike Kekich. Kekich throws left, bats on the right side. Howard will be at first base holding the runner close. And Bobby Mercer, who's leading off tonight in an attempt to come up with a hot night and capture the batting title in the American League, will be next. Throw to first base. Baker with a short lead. A bunt, pop foul by Kekich, first base side. 1 strike. Baker has stolen 3 bases in 3 attempts. No balls and a strike. Dave Nelson moves in now on the grass at third. Fires at the belt, throws, low and inside. 1-1. Tell you this, Bosman's not missing by much. He's right around home plate. Tommy Ragland at second base. Some limber-up calisthenics. Curveball bunted back toward the mound. Bosman picks it up, throws to Rags at second. And it's 2 away. Pitcher Bosman 1 to the second baseman Ragland covering 4. And now here's Bobby Mercer. Bobby came into the ball game hitting .331, 25 doubles, 6 triples, 24 home runs, and 92 RBIs. And he set a pretty good shot out toward left center, but Maddox had room and made the catch. Mercer came into the contest trailing Tony Oliva by 6 points in the American League batting race. Oliva hitting .337, Mercer .331. Runner at second is Frank Baker. 2 outs. Bosman throws. There's a strike in the outside corner. And it's 0-1. With Mercer a left-handed hitter, the infield and outfield pulled around to the right. Ragland and Howard deep at second and first. No balls, 1 strike. Mercer back in again. Bosman nods at the belt. Checks the runner Baker at second and throws. Low and outside. 1-1 now to Bobby Mercer. Well, like Mickey Mantle, he started as a shortstop, but moved to center field. Become a very fine defensive outfielder. Bosman ready. The 1-1 pitch. Curveball hit deep to right center. Going back is Unser. Going back is Maddox. It is gone. A home run into deep right center for Bobby Mercer. And the Yankees now lead it 4-0. And that's home run number 28 given up by Dick Bosman this year. For Bobby Mercer, his 25th homer, RBIs 93 and 94. Again, the Yankees come up with a long ball after 2 out. And that'll bring up Horace Clark, the Yankees' second baseman, who was thrown out by Tom Ragland the first time up. Bobby Mercer now 1 for 2. Swinging a ground ball to second. Take it on the second hop. Ragland over to Frank Howard, and that retires a side. But again, the damage is done. This time the Yankees get a pair of runs on 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. And after 2.5, New York 4, the Senators nothing.
Many kids in the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia are not as fortunate as perhaps your kids are or my kids are. They don't have the security, the comfort of knowing when their next meal will be, or even the luxury of having a change of clothing. And to help meet the needs of so many people, WWDC is once again sponsoring our Clothe a Kid campaign for the upcoming school year. If you have any usable clothing for school-age youngsters, we hope you'll call WWDC's Clothe a Kid line at 589-7100. And we'll be very happy to send a representative to pick up the clothes at your home and at your convenience. Keep a kid in school by calling the WWDC Clothe a Kid line at 589-7100. And keep in mind, a better world is up to you. And we at WWDC thank you.
I might add that the baseball writers are paying this check also. Jeff Burrows will lead it off for the Senators in the bottom of the second. Batting .232, 9 doubles, 5 home runs, and 25 RBIs. The pitch by Mike Kekich. Breaking ball, strike, go and 1. Or your station break, get it to you as soon as we can. Dave Nelson will follow, and then Del Unser. Swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes. Yankees now have 4 runs on 4 hits. Senators no runs and 1 hit. The Yankee lefty fires high and inside. 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Jeff Burrows. Let up curve, hit high in the air. The shortstop, Frank Baker, says he'll take it. Just on the edge of the outfield grass and makes the catch. 1 away. Burrows pops out to Frank Baker. And that's going to bring up third baseman Dave Nelson. Nelson batting .277. 11 doubles, 3 triples, 5 homers, and 33 RBIs. Swinging a ground ball in the hole in the left field, a base hit. A shot between third and short, and Davey Nelson has a single, hit number 2 off Kekich. Let's pause here for station identification. This is the Washington Senators Baseball Network.
WWDC, AM and FM, Washington. Where'd you get it? At Jack Amatucci Chevy City, where the action is on everything from Vegas to Vets. Jack Amatucci Chevrolet, Veers Mill Road and Georgia Avenue in Wheaton.
Here's Del Unser, the Senators' right fielder. .256 hitter, 19 doubles, 6 triples, 9 homers, 39 RBIs. Nelson with a short lead. Dell tries to bunt the ball, foul tips it. Thurman Munson can't hold on to it, and it's strike one. Dave Nelson has 16 stolen bases in 24 attempts. And he tops the Senators in that category. Dave has come on strong in the base hitting department late in the season. And the pitch. Too high, it's a ball. 1-1. Hansen in on the grass at third. Baker at short. Clark at second, poised for the double play ground ball. The Yankees have one. And the pitch hit high in the air down the right field line. It's curving toward the stands, and it's going to be a foul ball. Rusty Torres giving chase. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Del Unser. The Yankee double play was their 155th of the year. They pulled off 3 in last night's victory. Unser hitting from the left side. Close stance. Nelson leads at first. Yankees lead at 4-0. Kekich sidearms outside 2-2 to Del Unser. Bobby Mercer shaded toward left center. And the left fielder, Roy White, not too deep in left. Kekich at the belt. The 2-2 pitch. A bounder back to the mound. Kekich to Baker. Oh, he dropped the ball. The throw was low into the third base side at second. And Baker had to reach over, and he dropped the ball. They're giving an error to the shortstop. That'll bring up Tom Ragland, the rookie second baseman of the Senators. Rag's batting .158. 3 hits, 19 at bats. And the pitch. Inside a ball. He'll be followed by pitcher Dick Bosman. So the Senators have 2 on, 1 out. They threaten in the second, as they did in the first, a strike on the outside corner. Ragland was sent down, but he came on very strong at the end of spring training. Was getting a lot of key hits. A ball and a strike. Swinging a foul back. And it's now 1-2. Ragland has what manager Ted Williams calls grit. He'll hang right in there and battle you all the way. Dave Nelson at second. Del Unser over at first. Mike Kekich looks into Thurman Munson. Yankees with a 4-run lead. The Senators second, the pitch on the way. Overhand fastball is foul back. And it's 1-2 to Tommy Ragland. Have a right-hander warming up for the Senators in the bullpen. Kekich sets and delivers. Swing a line drive, 1 hopper. Off the shortstop glove in the left field. Nelson running third, he's going to score. And the throw goes into the shortstop. Gets past him, is picked up by third baseman Ron Hansen. Another error by Frank Baker. A hot smash, a 1 hopper right at him. Paul Casanova trotting in now from the outfield. Dick Bosman is trotting toward home plate. And let us see if he will hit. No RBI in the play. Second error of the inning by the shortstop. But the Senators do get a run. As Dave Nelson comes on to score, that'll make it 4-1.
Continue.